Am I right or am I right? Am I right?
What happened?
Oh, there we go. We're back. I think we're back.
Hello.
I think we're back. There we go. There we go. Yeah. So I forgot that that's not centered on. There we go.
It's a hook.
Hook. So I cried, and this is weird because man. Like I've been having issues crying as an actor, but I'll put on a movie and I'll sob.
Yeah.
And I cry more at movies than I do in real life. Maybe not. It's different since we had a child, and that's part of this too. But it's also Hook. I'm trying to think literally everything. I mean the there you are, Peter.
Yeah.
You know, and the da na 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 na.
Yeah.
I mean the music is amazing. I was just every line she's like, oh Peter, you know like I thought you'd never. I can't believe you. And I'm like, oh, and their granddaughter, and she had to watch him run off with her. That didn't really make me cry. But like anything between, between Charlie Korsmo, who's the greatest child actor of all time, I think, and Robin Williams, any of that stuff, the father son stuff.
Interesting.
Even like My Jack, you know, like just all this just all this.
I always just found it more. I think it's wonderful
so great.
movie.
It's so great.
And I think it has one of the most underrated Dustin Hoffman performances of all time.
Yeah.
Because when he tries to commit suicide,
it's great.
It is one of the funniest things. And stop me, Shmi.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Shmi, don't you dare try to stop me. Don't try to stop me, Shmi. Try to stop me, Shmi. Get off your ass. I'm committing shoot. Come stop me, Shmi. And he goes, oh, no. And he's like, don't stop me. Don't you dare try to stop me. Don't stop me, Shmi. Bob Hoskins is so great in that movie.
Well, okay.
Phil Collins is in that movie, so is Glenn Close.
Did you cry during this movie? Because I cried a lot during Last Picture Show.
I cried at the end.
Really? I cried.
Did you cry? Did we cry
many times?
I think I only cried at the
end.
Brother.
Yeah.
When he says goodbye, when Sam the Lion says goodbye to the boys before they go to Mexico.
See, I didn't remember that.
And he gives them this look.
Yeah. It's so weird. And I was like, what was that about?
He gives them money.
Later
and then he just looks at them. And he looks at them, and it cuts to them, and they're so young, and they're like, they're just gonna go have this fun weekend, and he wishes he could go with them.
Yeah.
But the way he looks at them, and this is like why his insistence on casting Ben Johnson paid off in spades, because there's just a close up of him looking at him, and they hold on it for like maybe 5 seconds, where he just looks between one to the other, and then it cuts away, and it just like. It didn't make tears shoot out, but it certainly made me teary-eyed.
See, that's interesting.
Because it's such a real, and like this is why I keep saying it's a the epitome of a melancholy movie, because it's just there's just a sadness. It's more, that moment is more sad than when they drive off and then they do this dramatic push in on him at the very end of the scene, and it's like this big like, oh, there they go, and it's just, you know, you're thinking what's gonna happen to Sam the Lion.
Yeah.
It's more impactful, and it's just this moment. It's just a non-verbal thing. And it's just as powerful as his monologue is.
So that's so interesting, because to me, that was interesting because we were watching it, and I did not remember hardly any of this movie because I'd seen it so long ago. And when he because he's going like, if I was younger, I'd go with you. Don't get the clap, and then like whatever. And then it cuts to him, and he does that kind of like. He gives us this like strange look in his face, and then it cuts to them, and they both look down, and they both kind of like are sort of like, and it's just almost like this knowing thing between them.
Yeah. Which
was so strange to me because I was like, if it was just Jeff Daniels, then it's the thing about them taking Billy.
Oh, I took it more as.
But it's not. It's not at all, because they both looked down, and I was like, what is going on? And they drove off, and I was like. What was that about? And we rewound it, and then later found out.
Well, I just thought it was this beautiful, like, you've got so much life ahead type thing. You know what I mean? Like, you just have so much to look forward to.
It is, yeah.
That's why I thought it was
I'd
so
love
beautiful.
I'd love to rewatch it then with that in mind. I mean, I feel like we were both kind of thrown for a loop a little bit, right? Yeah.
And there's this moment where Cloris Leachman, when they first introduced Cloris Leachman, it's the first time you see her character when he goes to pick her up to take her to the doctor.
Yeah.
And there's just a shot of her just sitting in her house with her purse.
It's the loneliest thing in the world.
And it is and she's all ready to go. And she's not even like sitting back. She's sitting like this with her head down, just waiting. And she's waiting for her husband because she thinks her husband's coming to get her. Right. And she's still that depressed. And it's just it was one of the, and like that didn't make me cry, but boy did it. I was just like, wow. Yeah. With one image, way to set up the complete desperate loneliness of a character instantly.
Right.
And it has everything to do with the fact that they filmed it through a door, like out, like it had so much to do not with just her character and what that represented, but how they presented that.
The framing, absolutely.
There's a lot of that in this film.
I really watch this movie. I love a good bleak movie. Honestly, this Alfred Hitchcock loves a bleak. Oh, this gives me a huge depression boner, which is a weird thought to have. It's so depressing I wanted to hug her. Yeah, so that's a good way to kind of start sort of like structuring this. Like, so we've got these kids, they're just kind of shiftless and they're just like, whatever. I mean, we're not doing anything, but no one else is doing anything in this town. And then the movie kind of starts going when the coach says, will you drive my wife to the doctor? To Sonny, the guy on the right. He goes and picks up, oh gosh darn it. Yeah, picks up Cloris Leachman. Who is this character? That's not exactly her in the movie, but yeah. And so he, and it's sort of like, gosh, it's sort of like a weird, interesting counterpoint to the Mrs. Robinson scene in The Graduate, because it's just like the exact opposite tone. Because he oh, what? Sea of Guilt, thank you for the follow. He comes in and he takes her to she's just incredibly, incredibly lonely. He takes her to the doctor. She's like, do you want to come in and have a soda or something? And he's just like,
and what did you think?
Sure.
Because they left the purpose of her visit to the doctor like purposefully ambiguous. What did you think it was? Like,
first I thought she was pregnant.
That's what I thought. I thought she went to have an abortion. I really thought that.
To get an abortion, I didn't even think of that.
Because she walks out and she's walking. You know,
it could have been.
She's struggling, but then
sleeps with her. But
then I found out that isn't the coach
supposedly
it's implied that he's gay.
Very in a very small way.
And in the novel, he is gay.
Right.
Yeah. Was it in the documentary that Cloris Leachman maybe said she just goes to get some attention to somebody to look at?
Yeah, that's interesting. Which is I was like, oh.
And that makes sense when the coach is like, get her to hurry up out of there because she's not there for any reason but to just rack up a bill.
Oh, that makes it so. Wow. That makes it so much.
And he goes, doesn't he?
She just wants to be examined.
Oh no, that makes it so sad.
Sorry.
And he says, he does say something like, she just go whatever, women or something. And it is this interesting thing where, like, because in the novel he is, and like when they mention that documentary, like, because there's the one, it's a split second thing when he slaps, like he's like, everybody hit the showers. He slaps one of the boys on the butt. Which is like what coaches do.
Yeah.
But they
make a point of showing that.
And the tell is that the boy's running away and he kind of goes, he looks back at him and you go, that was weird.
And you know who that boy is?
I forgot.
That's producer Frank
Marshall.
Marshall.
Frank Marshall, yeah. Frank Marshall. Who became of Frank Marshall and Kathleen Kennedy, Spielberg's producers. Mm-hmm. So I did not notice about the coach. What is that? It's very small. It's Madeline. He slaps a kid on the butt.
That's when they're circling around the gym.
And he's like, and he goes, Tim Bottom, or he goes, Sonny, come here, and he tells it, and like he's about to be like, will you take my wife to? He throws a ball at a kid. The kid kind of like falls down. But it is this very, very small thing, and the only thing that made me go, was because he slaps him, which is in every I'm a Coach movie. Hoosiers just smacking butts everywhere.
And then going, I love you guys.
But the tell is that the kid, there's a dedicated reverse shot of the kid running away and going, huh? And it's like, okay.
And apparently in the novel, that kid is like the lead. He's also the quarterback. Like he's the star.
The next year?
Like athlete. The next year. Yeah.
And that happens in the movie.
And I think there's like they go more in depth with that.
Sure.
I think they actually have a relationship.
Oh, interesting.
I think so.
That's crazy. So it is just this sort of like, this and it's the whole town, man. They're just
this whole town
bored and they feel.
And everybody's got secrets.
Empty.
Everybody's doing these weird things to just reach out, and they're making these very terrible decisions out of desperation, and most of it revolves around sex. I mean, it just does.
Because like what? Yeah. Because
I mean, that's
what else are you gonna?
Almost all of this revolves around sex, and yet all of it is awkward and depressing.
All of it.
And just
None
of it is titillating whatsoever.
There is not I mean. Yeah, there's not a sweet sex scene in the whole movie. Is sweet or
even with Cloris Leachman.
I know that's what made me hesitate, but like it's not.
It's sad.
Yeah.
And when she cries.
Yeah.
And then she
it's the worst.
He's almost gonna look at her, and she hugs him harder to like hide her tears.
Yeah.
And like
he does. You're right. Yeah. Exactly.
And like it's a powerful moment, but it's utterly depressing because like because she's embarrassed, and she's just embarrassed that she's crying. She even said, she's like, I feel like I'm crying all the time. And she, even with this
this kid's like 17, 18,
she feels like she's almost not worthy of his attention.
Right.
And so she's very nervous about it.
Yeah. So Sonny falls into this affair with Cloris Leachman, the coach's wife. And as you said, they all have secrets, they all have skeletons, but also the entire town knows everything.
Everybody knows everything,
or at least certain people do. Yeah, like, but I think everybody.
I don't know why that it didn't come back then from the coach. If everyone knows,
it does a little bit at the end.
Repercussion.
It does it.
Yeah, he doesn't talk to him, but like he went through his whole senior year.
Yeah.
Without.
Because
Is the coach just like, well, someone should keep her entertained for me?
I guess. I mean, maybe. I mean, like...
Or maybe they did hide it well enough, but...
Well, the implication, though, is that everyone knows.
Yeah, or at least... it is. I'm like, okay, cool. But it's Ellen Burstyn who says that, and Ellen Burstyn kind of just knows everything. But I think everyone... and it is sort of this thing where... because Eileen Brennan knows. I mean... But they're kind of...
They both say everyone knows.
Yeah, they literally do, It's true. So that relationship begins, and it's kind of like, okay, and he's starting to, it's like he's got this going on, and Dwayne and Jacy are going on, and Dwayne, they're boyfriend and girlfriend. I hesitate to say that they're dating because he keeps just kind of being like, when can I get a date? He keeps calling her up. Mm-hmm. He's like got her, but also he's just like. But he's got it bad for her. Everyone's got it bad for her, but he's really got it bad for her. And she's just kind of like, I think it's kind of implied that she does like him, like that she does really have a fondness for him.
She starts out the movie liking him,
right?
And then her mom, scene at the vanity,
yes,
where she's like, you've had sex with him, right? So you can know that you can move on with your life and stuff. I think that's kind of like a turning point for her, where
that's definitely
she goes, okay, it's time for me to catch my husband, and Dwayne's not gonna make my mom proud of me.
Yeah, and she literally is like, why don't go for Dwayne? He's not gonna make money, because like she's just like,
and he's like, you got daddy to make money, and he's like, no, you can't do it, you're not scary enough. Like, she didn't seem to respond in the scene, but like that point on in the movie, she's no longer affectionate with Dwayne. She's just as manipulative with everybody.
She is like justifiably so. She's just very impressionable, and like there's a moment where like when she goes to the nude pool party, and she undresses and everything, and she sees a boy there, and he catches her eye, and later on they're talking, and they're, it's implied that they want to do each other, and he's like, are you a virgin? She's like, yeah, but I'm not looking to be.
I don't want to be.
I don't want to
or,
be.
Yeah.
But he's like, we'll come back after you're not, because I guess he doesn't want to deal with that.
I guess, yeah.
And so he basically tells her, go have sex with someone else, and then you can come back to me, and maybe I'll give you the time of day.
And then that becomes her goal.
That becomes her entire goal.
It's like he's an NPC and it's a side quest. I mean, it's like she's just like it's just like cool. Okay, that's why I need to find someone to have sex with. And you're right. And she you're right. Absolutely, honey. Like she first breaks off from Dwayne because of this talk that her mother gives her, which she's like, and it's interesting because you hear that out of context outside of the movie, and you're like, and she's like, don't go for Dwayne, he doesn't make enough money, and you go like, oh, that old thing. But it's not like she really values money either. It's not like she just is like, marriage is nothing, this life in town is nothing, just get as much as you can out of it.
Yeah.
Like marriage is not about money, but it's not about anything. So
I don't think she views her.
And
at least at that moment, I don't think she views her life decision of marrying for money as the wrong thing to do. She's just like, no, that's the only thing to do.
Yeah, she's like, what else are you gonna do? Yeah, like,
yeah. What's funny is that there is a sequel to this movie. I
saw that
called Texasville.
The cover looks ridiculous,
and the cover looks
but
ridiculous.
I really want to see it.
And so do I. And it's got all the original cast back in it, and they've all aged 20 years.
Yes.
And the main two leads in it are Sybil Shepherd and Jeff Bridges.
And they're on the cover holding each other like a romance novel.
It's super weird. I do want to see it.
Yep.
And
they're dressed in all denim because it's the 90s.
Because it's the 90s. But what's funny is that in the movie, and this isn't a spoiler, it's established like from the get-go that Dwayne, Jeff Bridges' character in this sequel, he did very well for himself. Like he's essentially he did what Sybil Shepherd's Jacy's parents did. He became an oil field head dude.
Yeah.
And owns his own oil fields and is very, very wealthy.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
exactly. It is a McMurtry. He wrote the novel but then interestingly, Bogdanovich directed that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But did not co-write the script with McMurtry. He just wrote it himself, which is interesting. I don't know why.
Bogdanovich wrote it himself?
Yeah. I mean, like from the novel.
Well, yeah.
But he adapted it himself and didn't have him on it. I don't know why.
That's why it makes me wonder. Like, I fully admit that I think this is a perfect film. But once this movie did as well as it did, and this is one of the reasons I think I view Bogdanovich in a weird way, is like he took credit for everything. Like everything. And I think there were a lot of reasons why that movie is as good as it is, and it's not all just due to him.
Sure.
I think he had a massive hand in it.
Sure,
and
absolutely. And he's the director.
He deserves the bulk of it, but he claims to have cut the whole movie together, to edit the entire movie together, and then he didn't want to take credit. He didn't want to have an editor credit in addition to a producer, writer, director credit. He thought it would be too much and it would be silly. And he's like, just give it to this guy who gave me optical effects.
Which is what a weird thing to do.
He
And then
didn't
that
give it
guy,
to him, he ordered the effects.
Yeah, he ordered the effects, and he's like, I did him a favor, I gave him that. That guy, he's like,
and the way
no,
he tells that story.
Really?
I gave significant contract. He was like, yes, Peter cut the whole movie together, and then we had a screening, and we all saw that this had the potential to be a real stone cold classic.
Yeah.
And then he handed it off to me, and I made significant contributions to it.
Yeah.
So, if anything,
he's like a co-editor.
He's a co-editor, yeah. And so he's trying to really undercut him by saying he only ordered the optical effects for something else.
And also what
and
a weird...
the way that's another...
What a weird way, exactly.
It's not weird. He's just like an egomaniac.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like...
And he goes, so he got a credit for it.
Yeah. But even...
And it's just the way he tells all the stories in that documentary. I just go, fuck you.
Well, and I just think even if it was true that he only did the optical effects and then he gave him the credit, it's like, well... Then just give him the credit.
Then just shut up about it.
Yeah, because you can't be like you can't
you
can't be like I gave this guy a credit.
Don't donate anonymously and then tell everyone you did that. You know what I mean?
There you go. What's up, honey? Honey. So I feel like I have to call him Honey because otherwise I'm going, hey, honey. Swear jar. Wait, really? What did I say? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, where are we now? So
So Cloris Leachman and Sonny are having this affair.
Jacy is like
Jacy.
She's gonna I'm just gonna find someone to have sex with so that I can go back and have sex with this dude at the party because I'm just looking. And he's like a rich dude. That pulls.
And that's the play. Is she knows he's a rich dude.
Right.
And that's
exactly.
why.
And she's like, well, he'll do because he's rich. And and she's just like, cool. And this all happens at this naked pool party, where and I think Bert Schneider was like, make sure you put some nudity in it before everything got started.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now I don't know if that is in the movie or not. I mean, in the book or not, but maybe it was just a happy accident that there was enough nudity.
I think it must be because I think Bogdanovich said, at least he claims he only added like one scene that he wrote himself, which was the graduation scene.
Right.
That wasn't in the book.
Right.
That was the only thing that was added to the film that wasn't in the actual novel. Yeah. But there's this big.
If you want to call me baby, just
Thank
go
you.
ahead now. Come on,
Anonymous.
Don't get scared.
Thank you, Anonymous.
Anonymous. Now take credit for it.
Yeah, there you go.
It occurs to me, I think Jacy's just ambitious. She kind of just
But
likes...
doesn't know where to put it, yeah.
Well, she's a female in the 50s. There's only one place she's allowed to put it.
Wow.
Yeah.
In Catching a Man.
And it ain't the butt.
And she's... and she's in a small town in Texas. Like, there isn't a whole lot she can do unless she... I mean, Genevieve works at a whatever, but, like, I think she just likes... Huh?
Sorry, I was talking.
She just likes having something to try to win.
Yeah. And
like many men do. But she just goes, this'll work, and then she wants that, and then she gets it and goes, what else can I do? What else can I do?
And she's also
like she's just a businessman who has to hunt men, and that's what she's got.
And I think it's wants what she can't have, but she knows she can have everything. But I mean, when later on when her and Sonny get together and they end up eloping, and then
it's
almost
such a great
on the ride home from getting married,
it's the honeymoon's over. Done.
She looks at him. She's like, "You got that." This is after Sonny and Dwayne get into a fight, and his eye gets scratched, and he goes partially blind in one eye. He's got this thing over his eye, and she looks at him, and they just kind of hold on his face. It's a great moment. She just looks at him.
She's like,
and then she kind of thinks, and then she's like, "You look so stupid with that eye patch on."
And she's already done. It's done.
She just wanted to elope.
Because she just got it. She got married. She knows everyone's gonna find out.
Yeah.
She wants attention. There's no Facebook.
But she doesn't even only want that. She left a note for her parents that I'm gonna go elope. Got someone to elope with her,
great. Yeah.
and then waited for the cops anxiously, and then was like, "Here they are."
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. She literally goes.
Oh, they made us like.
She goes. Oh.
All of this was just like. Just let's have a fun day, you know.
Yeah. And he's like, what? And she has the line. She's like, I hope my daddy didn't call the police. Wouldn't that be awful?
Yeah.
And she just like can't contain her smile. It's great.
Madeline, it's interesting because it kind of all leads to that pool table scene where that type of ambition and that kind of aloofness to where her actions have no consequences kind of all come to a head, and she gets a hard dose of reality in the sense that.
Hello, my name's Mr. Reality. There's a pool table over there. It looks like you could use a hard dose of...
Oh, boy.
But yes.
Really set that up.
Sorry.
But it's true. Like, I mean, it's the one moment that I feel like it felt like she might be in over her head. And she went along with it, and she tried to play it cool, and then she was upset about it, but more in just like, boys are stupid type
she's
way.
She's upset, but she's just like, I'm gonna end up an old maid.
Yeah.
Immediately
At 18.
She took the completely wrong.
She's like, I lost another boy. Did you know that?
Or you got sexually assaulted, whatever.
Yeah.
Or
right, exactly.
Or preyed upon. Yeah, because basically she ends up the oil worker
Jacy's mother is having an affair with.
Comes to their house looking for the mother.
Jacy's just sees the daughter
reclining on the couch, and it's not
the daughter who is like coming on. To
yeah, definitely. Yeah, she's
and they play that scene.
It's great.
Honestly, beautifully because it's the best scene that shows her talent as an actress.
Yeah.
Because she plays it so subtly and in such a unique way where she does come on to him. but they do it in a very natural, just like, oh, I'm just kind of nervous and
Yeah, and she's like, boy, I just,
I've never seen the pool.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, well, I'm just going to the pool hall, and she's like, but they don't let girls in there. She's like, I've never seen the pool hall. Always wanted to go.
Yeah.
Head down, look up. Like, yeah.
And whoever, that actor,
Yeah. He's in.
love that guy.
Yeah.
And the way he plays that scene, because he never breaks eye contact.
Yeah.
It's like he doesn't even blink. And he's just figuring her out the entire time. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, well, I could take you down there.
Yeah.
It's just such a great, like, he plays it so beautifully.
Yeah, exactly, Madeline. So I was gonna say that.
Oh, that gripping, it kind of was like, I was like, that's hot.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's it. Like, that is the one scene, that is the one sex scene that's like, all right. But
it felt genuinely passionate.
yeah, or like at least you get it.
The only one that's hot in this is the rape.
I mean, well, he doesn't rape her, but it is definitely, he's much older and
Yeah, he's taking advantage.
Yeah,
for sure.
And even though she's like,
I don't know, she had second thoughts maybe, but yeah, she never said no.
But I think she has second thoughts
Well, no,
after
actually,
how he reacts
You're right.
after.
It's
And
not
that's what
until
it
in
is.
the car where she's
And
like,
that's what it
so we, and he's
She's like,
like,
I
you
didn't
can get
expect
out of
that
the
now.
car.
and that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying there are no really great. There aren't any great sex scenes. There aren't any like positive or really sexy sex scenes. That's the closest one. But it really, honestly, that just makes, like, it puts you in her shoes, and she's like, this is happening to me. Oh my gosh. And then she's like, this is what it is. This is the romance novel stuff. And then it cuts to in the car, and then with the context of that scene becomes not at all a positive one, because he just goes, she's like, well, so like, it's great. It's a great line. She just goes, well, and the way she says it, she just said there, like, that's just happened. He's driven her home. We stop, and she just goes, boy, I didn't expect that to happen. And she's like, and I don't know if she leaves over to kiss him or she like leaves over to touch him, and she's like, why don't you just get out now?
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh, and then she gets
That's
out.
probably why she's emotional, really. Well, I mean, that.
But it's also the
Color
first time
is
that she's
entire
had.
experience.
It feels like she
And yeah,
has been taken advantage of the entire movie in terms of like she's been the one that's
true.
pulling all the strings
Yes.
on all the boys, and then she had a man pull the strings on her that time.
but it's funny too, because but then also it's funny because I think it's also what you said too. It's so funny that she's not like, I've been taken advantage of. She's just like, well, that didn't work either.
yeah, she's more just frustrated by
And
it.
she's like, well, what am I supposed to do? And it
But one of the interesting
At
things.
the beginning of the movie, she says, Mom, I would never do that. It's
yeah,
a sin.
yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
have sex with her. She goes, it's a sin before marriage. And he didn't want her attention like all the
only one
boys
she
her age,
didn't
which
have
is
sex
why
with
she
was the guy that she married.
she's rejected after. Absolutely.
She made sure she never slept with him.
Well,
Exactly.
I was just gonna say one of the beautiful things this movie does is it all these pivotal moments happen. Like I loved the fact that scene happened on that pool table.
Yeah.
Like the way it is, like we're talking about the photography of it. Like it is filmed almost like a noir.
Yeah.
And it's like it's very gorgeous and it's quiet.
It is, yeah.
And it's just like you can hear the wind outside, and it uses. And, like, the pool hall is such a representation of, like, the town in a lot of ways.
It's, yes.
And it's just, it's interesting because she's
Stunning and
always kind of views herself, I feel like, a little bit above the town just because of who her family is and how pretty she is. And it in a visually thematic way, it feels like she is brought down to reality in that moment.
Yeah.
And they use the pool table as, like, this dirty old pool table which she gets taken advantage of, and it's like, no, we're gonna bring you down a notch here.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was very intentional.
And it's also interesting, given, I mean, you think about the way that's shot and the way it feels and the way everything, and it's interesting, given the background of Peter Bogdanovich's relationship with Sybil Shepherd at that point. You know what I mean? It's very kind of like, you know, because
The other reason I don't like Peter Bogdanovich is he says, I was blah, 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 I'm casting the 3 older women.
oh, and they're 30.
They're all 35.
Yeah.
Were they even 35?
I
I think they were like 32.
They said, like, he called them the 3 older women many times.
He's just
So,
like the,
hell.
well, I mean, and he's just like the
No,
3
no,
that weren't Sybil Shepherd. Yeah.
Knowing he was 31, if that's true, maybe
Oh,
you
yeah.
go,
He was
okay.
32, I think, yeah.
Like, I could kind of understand if he's younger than 35, but yeah, for him to be like,
old hat.
I've got this old ham
Yeah.
but I got a 16-year-old in this movie I get to cast.
And so that is so. How old was
I don't know.
she?
Sybil?
I don't know. Maybe 19. I don't know. Maybe 20. I don't know.
Because I forget that. Yeah, he was 32.
Yeah. I
mean, I'm gonna be 32 in like a week.
Yeah.
So like that means.
Watch out for Sybil Shepherd. Yeah.
That's yeah.
To be with a high schooler or a college kid.
That's not great.
Yeah.
I just thought about it like that. That's not great at all.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because we're talking about this scene where this older dude and she are, you know, and like we're saying he took advantage of her, but it's like, well, there's probably the same age difference. I mean, exactly, you know, it's like the same. But I'm not like, I mean, she was, I mean, whatever. Like,
68.
I'm not trying to.
Thanks, Wolf Rat.
It was She's 68 now, so math. Yeah, exactly.
She was born in,
math.
She was born in 1950.
So in 71.
And so she was 21.
She's 21.
Okay.
Which is
that makes
young, but whatever.
That makes it different.
And by all accounts, by both their accounts, to this day and throughout, it was a consensual relationship. But it's just an interesting parallel as well. You know what I mean? And it's funny. And Jacy, the character of Jacy is so fascinating. She's so like, I just feel like if she got plopped down, well, of course. But if you plop Jacy down into this era right now, she'd be like, finally, Instagram, Facebook, just give me all of this attention, and I can be a celebrity in my own home.
Well, this is why this movie still is not dated at all. There's a moment when they're in the classroom towards the beginning of the film, and the teacher's talking about something and interacting with the students, and the entire time they keep cutting back to Jacy just staring at herself in her makeup mirror, like the entire she is oblivious to everything going on around her, and she is just enraptured by her own image.
Yeah, and it's great.
It's such a subtle thing. Like, that sounds like it's a big, like, obvious, like, oh, she's, you know, narcissistic. Yeah. But the way they do it, they just keep
it's
they
just
just very quickly just cut to her, cut to something else, cut to her, cut to something. They do it like 3 times, and it just within that's great visual storytelling.
It is,
because it set up her character without having to do a big laborious monologue or any, you know, like a bunch of dialogue or anything. I was like, I know who she is instantly.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of school footage, and it's just basically, I mean, that scene essentially is like the teacher goes, what are the chances I can interest you in some John Keats? And Dwayne goes, you know, Jeff Bridges goes, not a lot. And everyone just blows up. Everyone explodes laughing. And then she's on it. And you just, in those 2 instances, you go, I know where we are. I know who that is. And I know who she is. It's
right.
Great. And Timothy Bottoms.
And I thought that was a great joke.
It's great.
I laughed heartily.
Absolutely. And it's
not a lot. And I was like, buddy.
Yeah. It was like, not good. Yeah, and it's great. It's great. Absolutely. And Narcissa's got nothing on her. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's, you know, Bogdanovich, when he was talking, you know, in the documentary, he was talking about how he was looking for Dwayne, and then Jeff Bridges came in, and his comment was that he was so likable that he was like, oh, that's interesting, because the character of Dwayne, in a sense, I mean, gosh, you want to kind of identify protagonist and antagonist, and it's like Tim Bottoms is a protagonist. Dwayne is kind of an antagonist. Mm-hmm. Jacy's kind of an antagonist. Mm-hmm. Ellen Burstyn's kind of an antagonist. It's just like
Genevieve is a good girl.
Yeah, she's cool.
Guy.
She's cool. She's just like the wise.
She's great in that. Oh,
she's great. Yeah, she's awesome.
Talk about her.
So great. But
you're right. Yeah,
but it's
there's
great.
A lot of not great people in this.
I mean, like, they're not bad people, but it's just in terms of like characters, it's just like the protagonist is Timothy Bottoms. He's the guy.
Yeah.
Who were like, and then there are these people who present obstacles or conflict to him.
And you know what's interesting is that John Ritter was this close to being cast in it.
Which I just keep thinking of Three's Company, and it's just like, it's different. It's just it would be different.
It like his whole
I've never seen him beat him around it.
It's so interesting because his whole career would have been different. Apparently he gave a brilliant audition, and he was this close, and the only reason he didn't get it is because Peter Bogdanovich, he just liked Timothy Bottoms' eyes better.
Because he said they're sad eyes,
and they are, and that was the right call because he is so great in the movie.
I like that, Wolfred. The town in general sounds like an antagonist. Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's great.
When he gets fed up at the end, when Sonny gets fed up at the end
it's so.
And he just gets in his truck and he just starts driving.
Yeah.
And he's just driving out of town, and then he realizes he has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. I don't know.
Harsh.
Yeah. What a freaking.
Real harsh.
What a freaking harsh.
Real sad.
I saw that and was like, should I steal that and put it in my movie? That might work for me.
What?
Oh man.
Getting in your car and driving and then just turning back
Turning
around.
Yeah. He does have some sad
You can call it
eyes.
an
So does
illusion or
George
something.
W. Bush, apparently. He really does look a lot like George W. Bush. That's what I'm curious about is like when I saw this, I was like, oh yeah, that guy whom I know from the Comedy Central show, That's My Bush, which
That's crazy.
which is a parody show where
yeah.
he played George W. Bush. This is the only two things I've ever seen Timothy Bottoms in.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, Jeff Bridges blew up. Sybil Shepherd did as well.
Yeah.
Ellen Burstyn is freaking Ellen Burstyn. Cloris Leachman
was
already on
I think-
Mary Tyler Moore.
She won an Oscar for
Yeah.
for this role, and then she went on to do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
It's
and
just weird because
some of them
he's
are
the
good.
main, he's the protagonist
Yeah.
of the whole film.
I know.
But
It's weird.
he's great
And
in it.
he is great. He is great.
his
in it.
ending scene where he finds Billy,
Yeah.
like they did that in one take,
Yeah.
and
It was
he just unloaded like it's,
They were one take, and I
it's
think it was
so
the
beautiful.
only take, right?
Yeah.
Or wait.
And same for Cloris Leachman and her
Maybe Cloris
big
Leachman's-
emotional
yeah.
scene
That
at
was-
the very
yeah.
end. But both of those were one take shots. Yeah.
Absolutely. And they're great.
Did he get nominated, Timothy Bottoms?
No.
One take. Yeah. No, I don't think so. No. We can look that up.
You are coming with me.
Thank you, Ice Wallow.
And it's almost like
Comey66. Thank you for the follow.
like Cloris Leachman wanted to do another take. She really wanted.
Yeah.
She came in.
Like an
She
actor.
did it, and she was like, "Okay, that was good. I feel like I could do it better." And Peter Bogdanovich was like, no, that's it.
I
We're
hated
done."
hearing that. I was
And I-
give her another take,
Kelsey,
man.
Kelsey heard that
Give her
too,
another
and she was
take.
just like, "Damn."
Yeah.
I know.
She
Yeah.
she was up. She was like, I don't care
Yeah.
if that's the best
Get
take.
another one.
Just
One
get
for
another
safety
one.
for
We're
crying
here.
out loud. Yeah,
We
exactly.
set it all up. We lit it. It took us hours.
She didn't,
Absolutely.
and she asked to rehearse it in front of him, and he said no.
Yeah.
And it might have been the best one,
But it
but
just
you
sounds-
never know what else she had in her.
And also,
I hate
it's
that.
just like, and granted, she killed it. Like it's a beautiful scene. But I just don't understand if an actor said to me,
Yeah.
"Give
Can I
me
get
another
another one?"
take. I might have more in the tank."
Like,
I'd be
absolutely.
like, "Oh, absolutely. You think you have more
I
than
loved
that?"
what you just did.
Because
Let's see.
there's no reason
Yeah.
not to.
Yeah.
Like we already got this one,
Yeah.
so we're good. But,
Unless you're like, I
and
can't
that-
spare $10 more.
Yeah.
It's just that those little bits and pieces, those little things he says, and just build up to be like, I don't.
How
like
often does
you.
something get done in one take, Wilfred? Like one take and one
Well,
take only? I feel like
It seems like
Things
he's
can-
very into the raw first
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and
Which is great, but why not get another one?
why not?
Frankly, it's kind of foolish.
Yeah, now-
because for whatever reason, if that doesn't work,
what if the film
that's all you got.
And what'll
is
generally happen?
mishandled in like processing?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I just
Which
think
is why-
you have to get to
Yeah.
be not an idiot.
And generally that's what it is. Even if you nail it the first time, 99 out of 100 times
about-
they'll go get one more for safety,
about the
which is
one-
if something happens to
Well,
that take or something
what about
happens
the
to
one
the
where
card or
Jeff-
something happens to
Yeah.
Bridges, where he loved Jeff Bridges' first version.
Yeah.
It sounds like he doesn't actually have faith in his actors.
Well,
It doesn't because
He's like, these
'cause
guys
what
can't
I
happened?
think it
really
sounds
act.
like that.
I
Yeah.
just
Well,
gotta like trick him into messing up well.
He just
and then
assumes
we
that-
can't do it again. And then like
And I understand the frustration of that because, like, when you get a great take
Yeah.
of like a really emotional take, you really do feel like if for whatever reason you lose that take. Because there's a scene with Jeff Bridges
Yeah,
at the very
it's
end
just
when he's
great.
parting ways and he's going off to war and he's saying goodbye to Sonny, and it's this very emotional moment. It's a great performance by Jeff Bridges. Well, they got one, and then apparently the cinematographer like blew the exposure, and so they had to do it again. And apparently Peter Bogdanovich flipped
Lost his
out. In
mind.
his own words, he flipped out.
he
Yeah.
threw a fit. And
Threw a
was-
fit
yeah.
to the point where the cinematographer had walked off the set.
Yeah.
And it was this whole, and he was just like,
I remember there was a
and everybody
contentious
was like,
crew
well, he's upset
relationship
because
anyway.
you yelled at him.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm the one who should be upset. He blew the take. And even in the interview, 30 years after the fact, he's like, but I was upset because he blew the take. And I'm like, I get
Yeah,
that.
I do get that, yeah.
But also, that does sound what it is. Like, he just doesn't trust his actors.
Well, I
And
think-
again, I understand that because
Yes.
those highly emotional moments are very hard to not only hit that balance,
Yeah.
but to get it right. And then once you get it, you're just like, you have a huge sigh of relief.
There's
But I
honestly,
feel like
though,
I feel like go ahead.
2 in a row, you're still in it. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like
yeah.
you need to come back in
yeah.
a month and get
No.
it back.
Well,
And then he does it, and Jeff Bridges does it just
Bridges
just
nails
as well. Because
Well, we didn't see the other
And
one.
he almost downplayed it because he was like, and he was great. But he said it in a condescending way. It was like he couldn't admit that it was as good as the one before because then his anger would be unjustified.
But maybe it wasn't. Like maybe it wasn't, but it's fantastic.
But he's fantastic in that
He is
scene.
fantastic.
So
I agree, but we don't know what the other one was like. But I'm not saying.
Same way about that ending scene in Five Easy Pieces where he's like, clear everybody out. I'm not even going to have a boom person or anybody running camera, and I'm not going to watch the actor. I feel like actors can do it more than one time.
Yeah.
That is our job. Our
Wanna do
job
it more than
is
one time.
to access our emotions on demand.
Yeah.
And to go, just like having to clear everyone, it's not like a sex scene. I know they clear it for sex scenes and for nudity. This guy is just crying about his father. That isn't a normal emotion that many people have experienced. For him to be like, we can't have a boom guy in here. It's going to fuck it up. Yeah. It's dumb to me. And for him not to get a second take and to not to watch it. That's another one where I'm just like, why don't you act like your actors is a professional and let him do his job?
So I get it, and I get why it feels that way, and I understand that it comes off that way. But I feel like, first of all, I think he's... I get the clearing it. I get the trying to protect the performance as much as possible. I think that's fine. I mean, like I get that if the actor's like that's excessive, fine, whatever. But I think, and I agree with this. I do feel like that the implication sort of is he doesn't trust anyone to get it right the second time. I think it's born more of this sort of romantic idea of film and the magic of film, and then you nail it once and it's magical, and then you go, we don't need another one, and we don't need another one, and doing another one almost like is admitting that film isn't magic like that. You know what I mean? I agree with
this last comment is interesting.
Just because that's what he wants to be known for.
Yeah. I think that is.
I think it's an idea of being caught up on the romanticism.
I think it's that, and I think it's what you're saying too, because I can sympathize with everything he does. It's just that. And I can even sympathize with being like, all right, clear the crew, whatever. If that's what an actor needs, fine. I mean, I do that.
If Jack Nicholson had asked for it, absolutely.
Well, they had gone back and they had a really intense back, and he really didn't want to do that scene. So I think Rafelson, because he felt crying on camera was the cliche easy
want to
choice.
Do it,
Okay.
And so he had to really coax him into it.
He just didn't think it was right for him.
No, but he was just trying to make it as
simple.
He's just like, whatever, just do it.
Because he didn't want to cry on camera anyway, so I think he was trying to make it easy on him. But regardless, like, I've done it before where I try, and during emotional stuff, I'll try to keep it minimal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll keep a sound guy in there,
Absolutely.
but, like, I'll keep it minimal. But I completely disagree with this idea if if Cloris Leachman had given me that in take one and was like,
give me another one.
Give me another one.
Yes.
I've got more.
Yeah.
Let me
because you can feel that you go, I didn't quite get it all out. And I totally get that the first one might have been better because we can't always gauge that.
Absolutely.
But you
why
can
not?
feel
why
a couple of things you go,
literally just don't stop rolling.
I was distracted here and I didn't do exactly. That's her. I'm glad she got an Oscar and maybe she's at peace with it. But like that.
But it's not respecting you as an actor as your job. It's like, hey man, this is my big scene. I've been working all the way up to this.
Yes.
Just let me get it out anyway.
Just
screw it. Just let me do it.
Saying to a
You've already got
director,
your one that you love.
It's saying to a screenwriter, stop writing.
Yeah.
You go, fuck you. This isn't a
like
time
let me get
test.
it out of my system.
I'm gonna write what I wanted to write.
Yeah.
You just let you. And she's this. Yeah, her whole performance is leading up to this. And to just be like, no, you're done. Shut up.
You're done.
Yeah, I think that is weird.
It's like being like, all right, start peeing.
Yeah.
All right, now stop peeing. Stop peeing right now, midstream. Stop it.
Yeah.
No, you're done.
And no other toilets for her. Take it away.
Yeah.
Or it's like
Don't let me see any more toilets.
No more
or it is
toilets.
like stopping a screenwriter, like, and he's like, I have 10 pages left, and he's like, oh, but I love this, so stop.
He goes, I like what you wrote.
Yeah.
It's like, I got a really powerful scene in the tank over here. I'm ready to go. I it's like this.
I had something
this
I
is
wanted
done.
to say.
And I, but again, I think it is silly for the actor to be like, give me another one, just be like, no. But
that's the thing I take issue with.
That's because
I get
there's
the magic
no
thing. I get the
risk on his part.
No, it
he
isn't.
had it.
Yeah.
You don't have to edit it in.
I agree.
You just let them do it.
I agree.
So yeah.
But I get.
Bro's too understanding for so good.
No, man, like, because there's a part of me that is taken with the magic of film.
I see what you're saying.
There are things like when I love being on a film. I love being on a film and then doing things for a scene that out of the context of making a movie seem ridiculous. Like going, well, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do this just so just to have it there, just to do this, just so it feels more like it would in real life, just so whatever, just instead of having you we're just gonna you're gonna be looking at this mark because that's where we need your eyes, and we can't have a person behind there, but the actor's gonna be there just for I don't need that necessarily, but I like it. I like that we do these things for each other to help the performance to cut, and it just feels. And there are moments like that where you get caught up and you go all right, we're just being silly with the lengths we're taking this to, but it's great. It's wonderful.
Oh, it's great.
You're doing it with people you love. It's like a family, and it's the magic of film, and I love it. I love it so much.
Absolutely.
Now, on a film where there was admittedly a contentious relationship between the crew and the crew and the director, and he just screamed his head off at the dude.
I think he desperately does do the romantic, but that's that thing of him playing the role of director. And I'm like, nah, just be a director, dude. I hate people who have ideas of what a director should be, and then act and say things in that manner. And I'm just like, stop. Yeah. Just direct. Be direct and direct.
Yeah. Or and especially when
directing is not a fanciful thing. Right. Your job is to break it down into the most nuts and bolts it can be, and in the simplest terms to communicate an idea, and to not use flowery, highfalutin, which is what Bogdanovich reeks of to me.
And I get a person in our personal life that made me think of this is why I kind of have a problem with that person.
Yeah,
we all know.
Anyway, but I feel because I do, there. I guess that's why I'm kind of
You want a job?
Jeff's your new favorite director. Yeah, we took the first draft of A New Hope. I don't know. Is it terrible or something?
Wait, I think it was super terrible.
The
Star Wars.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But
it sounds like I did take the first draft.
I feel like I do have a I get where he's coming from. I do think when it becomes if you're so taken by it's his first. Well, no, it's not. It's his second movie. But it's just okay. But I do.
But 30 years later, he's still talking.
When it starts,
he's not mature.
But I don't know.
He has not matured.
But when it starts, when your idea of what you want to be interferes with your interactions with people, and you go, I'm going to be cruel or aloof because I feel like that's what a director does, or I'm going to demand this even though I don't really need to because I feel like that's when it starts to be. I don't know, but sure.
And I don't even disagree with how he handled.
I get it. Me too, Wolfred.
I think it's a poor decision. I mean, it worked out fine for his film. I think it's a poor decision to get the crew against you, frankly, because they're an integral. They are as important. I mean, look, I spend most of my time with actors too, because that's what you're putting on screen, and that's the real sensitive stuff, and you have to get it just right. Yeah. So I try to just be there for actors, but I would never, I would treat my crew. I mean, your crew is doing. You got your best boy and your gaffer and all the guys doing all the grunt work, quote unquote. If no one's doing that, then you're not gonna have your film.
Plus, he's the best boy.
And he's the best.
He's the best one.
It's just a dog. He's the best boy.
Good boy, best boy, really. Best boy, baby.
Don't pick that union. Don't pick up the Don't pick up the sound equipment.
Don't eat
Let's
that.
not get involved with union stuff. It's so weird.
Sorry. Cool.
I couldn't move a chair when I was an intern for PBS.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so weird how union stuff works. It's no,
don't touch any of that.
Do not pick that cable up because we're gonna get fined $30,000.
Exactly. All right, so
yes, best boy is a film term. Honestly, what does a best boy do?
I was gonna ask you because you said
I don't.
I always forget.
Best boy is G&E, right? Is Grip and Electric?
Yeah.
So
he works underneath.
Best boy, key grip. I don't know where they are.
It's underneath the gaffer fold of lighting and G&E.
So grips.
G&E is
Grip and Electric.
Grip and Electric.
And grips are. I mean, it comes from people picking things up, gripping things, and picking things up. But grip is. I mean, you have grips in different departments, right? You have lighting grips, and you have sound grips, right? I mean,
I don't know if you have sound.
I mean, you have
grips. Best boy. In a film crew, there are two kinds of best boy: best boy electric and best boy grip.
Electric.
They are assistants to their department head, so they're just assistant.
Okay.
The gaffer and the
They're
key
like
grip, respectively.
80s.
The gaffer, and so gaffers are people. Essentially, gaffers are kind of lighting grips.
Still a silly thing. How did they?
Yeah, gaffers are the guys
Kind
who
of,
your cinematographer is like, all right, I want to put a light here. I want this effect. And they talk, and then the
gaffers go
key
do
grip
it.
and the gaffer are like, okay, well, I'm thinking if you want that effect, and then the cinematographer will have suggestions on what kind of light. They'll talk it over with their key grip because this is why this job is artistic on some fronts.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, you want that Rembrandt effect of like light through a window, sunlight through a window. All right, well then we're gonna need like a Kino flow, blah 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 blah.
We'll bounce it off the ceiling to soften it. We'll put this filter on, and we're gonna pull it away from here. And then you need great gaffers.
They take the artistic aspects of the above the line crew, which is your directors, cinematographers, actors, and everything,
and
they make it happen. So it's like a super. They translate it into a reality,
into physical.
They
control via wattage and how much power it's gonna pull and all these things, and like it is a super like such an important job.
It's such a marriage of art and practice, right? I mean, like the practical side and the artistic side. If you go like the director will be like, I want this scene to look like 7, and they start doing the math.
Yes.
Of like what lights where and how many and at what temperature and all this, like, so it's like
it's why I stopped labeling myself as a cinematographer, because I'm like, oh, I know it looks good and I can make stuff look good, but I don't have that technical know-how to where I can be hired as a cinematographer to translate. Because as a cinematographer, you have to be able to talk with that lingo and that verbiage. So you can communicate to your key grips and your gaffers, because be like, okay, look, I want X, Y, and Z lights, blah 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 blah, and I have no interest in learning that stuff either.
Basically, don't piss off your lineman. It's a good way to get into quarterback. Sure, absolutely, it is.
It is.
That's why
it's so cool to be.
Which is why I get furious when people pull shit like that, where it's just like, oh no, and like, look, nobody values acting more than I do, but at the same time, your crew is everything. Like,
absolutely.
I mean, that's just as important for different reasons.
There is no. I mean, there's just not an unimportant. There's what's that? What'd you say?
Not really. Though.
She said it. I didn't say it.
Well,
but she's an actress, so she can.
The only thing is you can replace a crew member who drops out that day. You can't replace the actor.
That's
you can absolutely replace the actor.
Well, if they've already been shot. But
that's
only
because
harder.
Sure.
But then that's just a dick move.
You have to reshoot.
She's like, guess what? I'm already in it. So what are you gonna do?
Guess what? I'm already in it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's not an unimportant job on a film set. I mean,
that's true.
Let's see. We could think of one.
I know. I've been a stand-in, and people can. That is important. Someone needs to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, like you need. I mean, they're just all the way down the line. You need good people in place. People who know what they're doing. People who can help. Just at the very help
and
things
people
move
who treat
smoothly.
it.
Let's cut the stream and go like make a movie, guys.
Yeah.
But like, you need people who are gonna treat.
Love
it. The other thing is like people who love it and treat it with respect.
Absolutely.
Because one of the major things on indie film sets that is a huge can bring a set down real quick and slow a set down even quicker is people who just goof around too much, and they're like, isn't this so fun? I'm like, yeah, it's the best. Also,
it is the best.
Be the most professional you can possibly be, and like, let's move.
Yeah.
Like, let's move quick.
Yeah, and it's just great. Gosh, there's just nothing. There's just nothing. If I'm not with my wife and daughter, I want to be on a set. Those are the best places to be. The best places. What's that?
We're streaming right now.
Yeah, this sucks.
That's the third.
This
thing
is
you
torture.
Do.
This is torture. No, yeah, no, like
That is the third thing you do because you don't sleep.
I don't sleep. Yeah. No, like it's just the most. This stuff is so expensive. Let's move. Yeah. You won't get hired again if you're a professional. So yeah, absolutely.
You'll get hired
or you
maybe
will.
Once or twice more, and then if you keep it up, word will get around.
Yeah. And that guy, they go, hey, that best boy? Not the best boy.
He's not the best boy.
He's the worst best boy.
He's a bad boy.
He's like a middling boy at least, at best.
But it always surprises me how often you run into that.
Yeah.
Like on a regular basis.
Yeah.
People fucking around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just not like
Well, I fuck around
often I hear
constantly, but-
stories.
Yeah,
I try my best to hire the best people. I honestly, this is not a boast. I just like I run into that not nearly as much,
Yeah.
but I hear horror stories
Yeah.
from people
Yeah.
because they're in a bind and they're just like, well, we just we need a guy, so we got a guy.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah. Ugh.
and I try to always hire people that
Absolutely,
I get
Wolf,
are
right.
validated by people I trust,
Yeah.
be it actors or crew.
Like actors, we are the ones that kind of get to fuck around the most because there's really nothing for. Well, we could be rehearsing or whatever, but we do have
Learning
downtime where
lines.
there isn't
Oh, hurry up
anything
and
for us
wait.
to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
But when I hear stories about actors like intentionally ruining takes or pulling pranks, I'm always like,
Pulling pranks
Is
while
that
the camera's
okay?
rolling?
yeah, of course. Especially in comedies, like
Oh, sure.
George Clooney stories. People,
Oh yeah, Mel Gibson.
people
yeah.
like pulling pranks. And
Yeah, those guys
ruining
are not
takes.
pros.
I'm always like,
I think on that, when you're at that level,
Yeah.
you can do it.
Yeah.
I guess
Because
they
you're
can
like,
afford
I'm
it.
Mel Gibson, and this is conspiracy theory, and I'm gonna shake Julia Roberts' hand with a cockroach in my hand.
Oh my
And you guys are
God.
gonna love it because it's gonna boost DVD sales.
And it's all yes, and it's also going to help morale. And we've all
Yeah.
had a rough day, and
But when you're on an indie set and that take is really cutting into time, then
man, well, back when people shot on film, I can't believe people just didn't.
I know.
You're like,
Yeah.
oh well, someone just have a
that
the best
prank
boy shoot
cost
him.
us $35,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We need a blooper. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Oh boy, we just kind of started talking generally
Um,
about filmmaking, but
Do you want to talk about the look of the movie at all?
Yeah, I didn't care for it. I know.
You're right.
I know.
What did you not like about it?
I don't like those heavy shadows. The unmotivated.
What?
Well, now there were
Fucking
those.
spotlights.
There were times when there was like spotlights, and it was like, and I almost kind of
Because
was like,
that's the only thing I know about lighting is don't put a damn
And there were
shadow
times when people had two shadows and
all
kind of crisscrossing
over
shadows.
the back.
Like it was, it
when you're
did look
in a
like.
place that shouldn't have a light.
But to me,
directed
I
on
was
you.
like, it looks like a '50s movie. Like shadows of people, you know what I mean? Where there's unmotivated light, like you're looking one way, and there's a harsh shadow of Sybil Shepherd on the wall, and then you cut to the two girls who are like, "What did it look?" And then there's harsh shadows of them on the wall. And I'm like, where is that light source between them?
I
Like,
think I want to say that that's super intentional.
right, and to me, it made it look more like a '50s movie.
I think like when
Sure.
they cut
Like
to
the
close up to
problems
Sybil
of the
Shepherd when
50s
she's
movies.
like kissing anybody in that movie,
Yeah.
they always do the
Yeah, it's true.
spotlight on
It's
her
true.
mouth, kind of cut this off, and then they cut to a shot of her in a mid or a wide,
Sure.
and that's not there at all.
Yeah.
That's just I mean, intentional.
But
Yeah.
also
I know
he
it's
was like,
intentional.
intentional, maybe.
well, I mean, like
Stupid, also powerful, maybe.
now regardless
I
of whether it's
I'm sure it's intentional.
regardless,
I didn't like it.
See, yeah, that's totally
That's
absolutely
valid.
And the other thing is that
I just wonder what it would look like
But-
if it looked right.
but remember,
like,
do you remember
realistic.
the
I
part
just
when
wonder what it would look like.
do you remember the and do you remember the part where Bogdanovich is he's talking about shooting the fight scene, and then they're like, "Do you
That's
want to
the
get a
other part.
master?" And he's like, "What's a master?"
Yeah.
Like, so a master shot.
They're
and
like, "I
don't-
quit, I
That,
quit."
Now that sounds whatever, but like a master shot is where you. I mean, basically the basic way to shoot a scene. I shouldn't be saying
Go
this.
for it.
But it's like you get kind of a wider shot where you see the entire action, especially at like a scene like a fight scene or something where you need to get, or traditional knowledge says you get a wide shot where you see the entire action, or you get a sense of where we are before you start moving in and getting sort of the mid shots and then the close ups, right? And so like the basic is like master, mid, close up, and then the reverse on the other person or whatever. I mean that's right, yeah. And so basically he was saying, and a master shot is that's I know that you might be like, what's a master shot? But
It also orients the audience
Yes.
on a lot of action.
Geography
so that-
is
yeah.
super important
Yeah.
in film, and especially in any action scene, is understanding where you're at any given moment. And a master shot, which is usually your wide shot, I mean, it is your wide shot, it just establishes the geography of
Like,
the
where's this
frame
person
once
in
you start
relation to this
pushing
person?
into it and cutting all around.
Yeah.
And that's why like people critique Michael Bay a lot, and they're like, I get confused where he's at. Is
Yeah.
he if he does, he shoots everything. He
Yeah.
shoots from 30 different angles. But he doesn't orient the audience first. So if you look at someone like how Michael Bay shoots action versus how John McTiernan shoots action, you get a very different understanding. Because like you can look at Die Hard or Predator. Like I was watching Predator recently, and I marvel at that movie. It's a silly movie, and I love it to death.
Yeah.
But I marvel at how it's put together because it's all about geography, and he's a master at geography with action.
Yeah, and yes, it does. It can help with continuity, sure, and it can help save you, and it can help if you. There's a number of reasons to do it, right?
Yeah.
So like if you're in close up, and the character's giving a speech, and the first part of it is good, and the second part of it is fine, but then the second part of another take in the close up is better. You can put those together if they're talking, and then you cut out to a master shot, cut to the wide shot, and then cut back in, and you can put those. I mean, I don't know if this is getting, but you can put those two things together by cutting to something else in the middle, if that makes any sense. It's all, but in general, in at least in this context where they're talking about it is about orienting the audience. Where is this character in relation to this character? So it's like a thing where like. So if you start,
saves you in editing if you go, hey, I don't have a transition between these two like
you
I
can
thought
cut to
I
the
did.
master. Yeah,
It's just something that can go anywhere because
It's
it's got
Yeah.
all of the action in it, and you can see everything in it.
but in the sense of like, so like they're talking about an action scene here, like so if
and it's generally
there
the
was
whole
a
scene uncut.
yes, or as much of it as yes, absolutely. Like, and so like say we had a shot, say the master shot is Jeff's across the room from me and I'm across the room. Then when we cut into Jeff and we start talking to each other and it's close up, we go there across the room from each other. And if suddenly in Jeff's close up I went, it's like there are movies like the Zucker brothers make movies where they make jokes
about that,
and it's weird. It's a thing that it's like kind of hard to explain because we are so used to cinematic language that we don't even think about them as different things. We just go yes, I process it as that. You would notice it if a movie broke it, and did a bad job of it, and then you would go, what the like you'd be like, that person's facing the other way, or like, I mean that's a different thing, but it's like that person wasn't, you know what I mean, Michael, but no, see, but this is interesting because in that fight scene, this was all kind of based off of like they were like, so do you want to get a master for this fight scene? It's especially important for fight scenes because if it's a fight scene but it's in close up and I swing in this close up and then the punch comes in this close up, you go, well, I don't, whatever.
Where's the momentum of that?
Yeah,
and there's so many reasons. Yeah.
And it's like, there's no energy to it necessarily. The energy is based on how quickly you cut, as opposed to if you cut wide and I swing, you see the punch.
If I can't see your fist coming up, then there's no dramatic impact to the punch in the first.
Yeah, it's like if you're here and the person goes, oh,
yeah,
But so they're like, do you want to get a master of this fight scene? And he goes, what's a master shot? And they're like, what do you mean what's a master shot? And he's like, I don't know. And they had to explain what a master shot was to him. And he was like, oh, well, I wasn't going to do that. I was going to get this shot and this shot and this shot and this shot and this shot. And they said when they got the dailies back, 13 setups. And and then they got the dailies back, and I guess Rafelson was looking at it. Rafelson or Schneider, one of them was looking at it and was like,
Schneider was looking at it and saying,
like, this is not going to work.
This is not going to work at all.
We got to fire this dude.
And then
showed it to Rafelson, who's the director, and
who directed 5 Easy Pieces that we watched last week. And he was like, what are you talking about?
He's cutting in camera.
He's cutting in camera. He's cutting inside of his head. He knows exactly what he's doing. Don't ever bring me in here again.
So, like, if you did it perfectly and you knew exactly what you wanted and if you think about it in terms of, like, a comic book and you have it plotted out that way in your head.
But even then, it's another, like...
Get a master.
It's another one of those things that he does where it's just like, okay, well, why don't you... If your actor wants another take, get another take.
Yeah.
Get a master.
Yeah.
It takes fucking 5 minutes.
How did you feel about that fight scene?
I didn't think it was good.
No, it's not good.
It's not good.
And actually,
and you know what was missing from it?
A master shot. Exactly.
What was missing is
because they cut to
momentum.
Because all of a sudden,
exactly.
like
momentum is
like
missing.
Eileen Brennan starts running up out of nowhere, and like the geography of them running out of the diner and over to the scene, all of it's missing.
There's no impact. There's no momentum.
He blew it in that moment.
It actually feels like they didn't they did too much of little things.
Yes.
Like
too many cuts. Yeah.
Like Timothy Bottoms
smash. Yeah.
Rolling flying into backing into frame on the ground. I was like, that they didn't do the action leading into that.
But if you can,
I think they just did that action.
Yeah.
And that's what they did too much, and it didn't seem like things
It was
were
like 9
flowing
cuts
into
where
each
3 cuts
other.
would do.
And the other thing is, there's part
And
of
like
it.
the punch, I don't think they
No,
had enough
oh,
wind
gosh.
up.
Yeah.
It was too faked. I was like,
Yeah,
you guys need to do more fight choreography rehearsals. You're not selling the action.
Yeah, and I don't know if Socrates is still in here, but I saw when we were watching, because I was watching chat while we were watching the trailer, that moment where he smashes the bottle against his face, which is a big moment and blinds him for like a large part of the rest of the, or a significant part of the rest of the movie. That thing has no impact. It looks ridiculous.
No, that was terrible.
And I saw the reason I asked.
Terrible.
Oh, hey, yeah, because I said, do you remember when it went? Shh, I saw you go, ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Like you went like you did the funny thing. Yeah, it's ridiculous, and it's because when you see his face and then you just see smash, it is like a kid making a movie.
Yeah.
Whereas if you see him grab the bottle, take it, like if it's like a close to the bottle and then a wide shot, swing back, smash over the guy's head, cut to the close up, then whatever, it has impact. Now
I did that in
this
my
is a
own movie, and
Yeah.
I kicked so and so's ass.
What are you talking about?
Jeff Bridges. Like I hit someone with a bottle.
Jeff Bridges.
I'm just trying to like.
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. We had a breakaway bottle. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did better.
Yes. Well, because it was in a wide shot. It looked like he may have not done it.
I don't even know if it was a wide shot. I just think that they didn't hit well. They just kind of was like.
Yes.
Oh, he pushed it
He
in.
smashed it
Yeah.
because it was like a kind of like it was a close
like-
it was a close frame and they didn't. I mean, they couldn't like
It's too
have a
many
big
cuts.
thing.
It's too many cuts.
Now there's like a kind of thing where like so
And
like
then
that thing
you're
where she
stuck
comes
to
running
it.
where they come running out of nowhere and there's a lot of cuts. I'm kind of like it makes sense to kind of be like a real fight is disorienting
I think
and
they
whatever
pull-
and that makes sense. But
I-
they need more.
I think they
impact
pulled it
didn't have
off in
impact.
the edit. I also think it could have been a better edit.
Yeah,
If
that's
they had
why.
gotten a wide.
That's one of the reasons
Sure,
when you
Wolf.
say it's a perfect movie. That's one of my big
Yeah.
complaints.
The
is
fight
like,
is the fight
action.
is I would say it's
That
bad.
doesn't take away from
fight
the
is bad.
perfectness of it, though, just because I think that might be the only technical quibble I have in this entire. Other than
The only
that,
imperfection.
The only imperfection, and all.
In a perfect movie. No, I'm joking.
and I understand the irony of that statement.
No, I'm just joking.
It just
And
isn't.
go-
It's not a deal
Here it
breaker.
is.
I wanted to say what Wolfrat said. It's arrogant to assume
Sure.
that that you're going to be able to chart it out perfectly in your head, and I kind of disagree because I know people who do that way.
If it
I
works,
think-
it works. But
I think Rodriguez
fair.
does, but he actually gets video storyboards and edits
Yes.
them. My brother does it that way, and and it works that way. I don't think you have to get traditional coverage.
hosted radio. Thank you for the host, my friend.
I don't think you have to
No,
get.
you don't ever have to
A
do
lot of-
wide shoulder over the
No,
shoulder
no, no,
over
no.
the
A
shoulder.
lot of people do that, and they end up with uniquely cut thing. I think
Yeah, and
Tarantino
it-
did that famously.
But you're leaving it to the editor, which you always are. But yeah.
But it didn't work. He took a.
Yeah, I don't think it worked.
It didn't work, but
That just means
But I don't even know if a wide would have fixed that. I feel
I
like
think
they
it
needed
could've, but-
I think so.
choreography help.
Yes, sure. Yes, it did. Yes,
Yeah.
you're right. Because it does feel like, and you mentioned this when we were watching, and I think you're absolutely right. I always do that. I'm like, you're true. Which is,
You're true.
and immediately after I said it, I go, I didn't. It's such a stupid. I can't. It sounds so stupid. Anyway,
I think you're stupid.
anyway.
too.
Thanks, honey.
I don't even notice you saying that.
Great. Well, now you will. So you mentioned this while we were watching it, and you're totally true. That it seemed like they didn't, or you said something.
They
like-
didn't do the action before.
Exactly. It seemed like they choreographed those shots. Like it was like
Right.
shot, fall into it, shot, smash the thing.
They didn't
shot,
choreograph
whatever.
it and then build their shots around the
Exactly.
choreography. They
Exactly.
they built the shots first, and then they're like, okay, and then
You shoot
and then
here,
this,
shoot here, shoot
and then
here.
this, and I'm like, yeah.
I remember
and you know
doing
what
that
it
as
looks
a
like.
kid.
It looks like you did this,
Yeah.
and then you did this,
Yeah.
and then you got all these really cool shots that are cool on their own and
Yes.
probably work, and then you cut them together within like 7 seconds,
And it's like
it's totally
you pasted little
jarring.
stamps of film just
Yeah.
together, and it's just like
Because
oh,
you're
I don't
right,
know.
like pre-plan. I mean, it's just it comes. It's like they storyboarded on the day, which I know he did,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah, he literally says he did.
because
Yeah.
he literally says he did. And I'm a massive believer in storyboarding, and it can save you, and you can not. It saves you from doing typical coverage, but still being very planned out and knowing how it's all going to piece together. And he didn't do that, and
Yeah.
it shows in that moment.
And ultimately that's it. Like I feel like the proof. That's why art is amazing, because you can be an arrogant bastard. You can not technically, in theory, by other people's definitions, be doing what even the most basic filmmaker would do. You can like not know what you're doing or know film, but if it works, it works.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And the problem here is that it doesn't work for me. Like and when you start analyzing it, you start analyzing why it works. And in this case, it seems pretty. You just go like, oh well, you just did it. I think there are other filmmakers who like I would trust. And I'm not saying Bogdanovich is bad. I'm just saying at this point he was a young filmmaker. Who knows? Maybe he learned later. And he obviously did learn on this film that's the master shot. But I'm like, if like Edgar Wright, I'd be like, Edgar Wright could do it. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
like Edgar Wright, I'd be like, yeah, you don't need a master. Do whatever.
Oh, if John
because-
McTiernan was just like, I'll do whatever I damn well please.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
Yeah.
you will.
And Bogdanovich
Especially if
made a
you've
wonderful
already-
movie in every other
I
respect.
don't know what Targets is, but once you've edited an action movie and
Yeah.
you've got it, you go, I like the way my stuff turns out, and you go,
Yeah.
this is what your experience can totally. You
Absolutely.
don't need to I think a master shot is often the ugliest shot and has the poorest lighting, and yeah, you don't need. I don't like cutting to it.
They're also like
But-
moving masters, which are cool. Those are cool.
I think we're just essentially saying he needed to storyboard the fight better. Is what we're
And
I
essentially
think he needed
saying.
a line of script after storyboarding, but he doesn't know any of this stuff.
Because
probably.
yeah, and it's like, well, like, but so all of this also kind of goes like, well, he didn't even know what a master shot is, and he made this movie. So it's a great film. I think it's a great film.
It is a great film.
Yeah, and the fact that this is the thing that we can harp on.
It's yeah.
I mean, it is
to
a
be-
climactic
to
moment,
be-
but
to, very clear.
yeah, I mean,
I'm harping on like that. I don't like him as a person, and that like this is a massive thing. This took nothing away from the movie for me.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
it happened, and I was like, meh.
Yeah.
And then I kept going because I understood the intent of it, and I just,
Yeah.
you know, it was. Just, and also, I'm not dissecting this movie for how it presents its action.
Right.
And
Exactly.
That's not to say that part was lackluster, but it's not a Michael Bay.
It doesn't
movie,
run it. It doesn't
you know?
run it. Yeah.
I can harp on Michael Bay's stuff because his movies are action movies where presenting the material in a coherent way is kind of the job.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes he's utterly fantastic at it and better than anybody in the business. And then in like the Transformer movies, it's bafflingly confusing to me sometimes, or like Armageddon. And again, love Armageddon.
I love Armageddon.
But it's like the chaotic camera can be very baffling in that
Yeah.
movie as to like where you're at and what's happening.
Yeah.
And but then you look at The Rock, and I'm like,
Is it? Well, see,
nailed it.
yeah. I don't remember being confused in Armageddon, but we'll watch it again when we watch Armageddon.
When they
again.
do the cliff jump over the canyon in the RV,
Oh yeah.
it is
Really?
it's confusing.
That's interesting.
That's why I have
Alright.
trouble paying attention to action scenes these days.
Man,
Yeah.
I just get.
I keep falling asleep during like Marvel action scenes, and I go, "What's wrong? Am I too tired?" And then I watch it
No.
again, and at the same time, I get bored and tired, and I go,
No, I don't
"No,
think.
it's
Yeah.
just boring." And there's
I don't
nothing
think they do a
happening."
poor job of communicating what's happening. But I do.
Because it's all amazing.
I do remember that. I do remember. Yeah. What you mean, like the?
Well, I
movie?
mean, it's all utterly amazing to look at, and therefore none of it's special.
So I remember going to see one of the Marvel movies that a lot of people really liked, and this was years ago. And it was like, and I think, and also it's just I've seen so many of them now. There like I was kind of like, okay, story, okay, and then the moment that it was supposed to be this big climactic fight scene between these two characters that's been building, the moment that he just went and my brain just went, I'm just gonna be quiet. I'm just gonna shut down for the next 5-10 minutes because I know they're just gonna punch each other. They're both gonna be alive, and it's all gonna be fine. But later, what was it Civil War? Yeah, Civil War has that scene. I haven't seen a Marvel movie in a long time, but there's the one staircase scene where he just like the grabbing the rail and swinging down on the rail. Like, do you remember? Like he's
I
like,
haven't seen that one,
oh, you haven't seen Civil War?
No.
Oh, okay.
but that's fine. We can,
Well, I was just like that, like in all of the action I've seen in Marvel movies, or at least the ones that I've seen in the past few years, Civil War, there's a stairwell fight scene where I guess it's Captain America, like is fighting Bucky or whatever, and he grabs, or he's fighting, and they're like in the whatever apartment complex, whatever it is, being raided by a bunch of SWAT dudes or whoever they are, those guys. He grabs the railing of the like just the metal railing of this like apartment and jumps off into the stairwell and swings down on it like a vine or and it just and goes and because they're coming up, and he just goes, and I was like, whoa! I'll remember that for a long time.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
It's funny. I've seen it and I do not remember that.
I was like, ooh, because it was a thing that stood out. Anyway, that just occurred to me because we were talking about more movies.
But it just goes to show that, like, if you can build to moments, I think action scenes are memorable when you can build to moments.
Yes.
Like,
absolutely.
Build to that, build to something else, you know, and that's what makes it, like, just having people smash into each other and filming it, even in creative ways. That's not anything that you can hang your hat on.
And
like, you got to build to, okay, now we're gonna jump off this, and then, like, I watched the new Mission Impossible movie finally. Like, finally saw it, and the
Mission Impossible movies do
Ryan
action
has not-
wonderfully.
if there's one thing that they are doing absolutely correctly, it is their action choreography.
and it's the last like 5 of them. Like I haven't. I mean, and I can't even think of a bad one. Like
it goes from moment to moment, and then
like,
they make it very exciting between those moments. But they are very conscientious of, like, okay, we're gonna do this motorcycle thing, and within that, we're gonna have 5 little moments getting to the next big moment.
Yeah.
And it's all about building to those things
and communicating it, and I mean it's I mean like I remember specifically with the last 3 Mission Impossible that came out. I haven't seen the last one, but the last 2 I was like, okay, Mission Impossible's back. All right, let's go see. Let's see if they still got it. I was like, dang, that blew my mind.
It's crazy
And
how crazy good they keep this last one. I was like, and like I had heard amazing things. And I was like, I walked out and I was like, it's still super silly, but I was like, it's just really good.
It's great.
Though.
Oh, it's so great.
It's incredible filmmaking.
It really is.
It's just like the stories are kind of whatever, but like they present them in such incredible ways, and he's doing all the and like. I know it's a marketing ploy, but on top of that, knowing that he's doing all that stuff in certain sections, I'm just like, it really does add to it.
That's funny because
it really does.
I don't ever think about it until after, and then I go, "Stop doing it, Tom Cruise.
The whole
you're worth
helicopter
$100 billion. Don't do it."
It is.
Very impressive. I always
Awesome.
think of who's the one that died who jumps into water in the alligator hunter or the
Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
Steve Irwin.
And I always think of that because you go, it's great entertainment because it's truly dangerous, and then he died from it, and you go, oh.
Yeah.
I think
That's
if
right,
Tom Cruise died during Mission Impossible, that would be the way he wants to go out.
Probably true.
Oh, without question.
Yeah.
Making a movie,
He's
probably,
so
but
rich at this point. This is the only way he gets his rocks off.
He loves making movies.
He does.
He does.
I wanna
That
keep
dude.
making
You
movies.
can say whatever you want about
Absolutely.
him, but I'm like, I will pay money to go see him because he gives everything.
That's kind of true. So I agree with that. I did not see Incredibles 2.
Yes, Incredibles 2.
I didn't see it.
Okay.
I didn't see it. Is it great?
Yes, and this motorcycle action sequence that she's talking about, that Madeline's talking about,
Carlos is great.
there are times, and this goes back to like how emotional I get during movies. It's not just sad stuff or sappy stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
If a movie is working so well in both where it's at during its story, how well the filmmaking is working, the shots, the music, everything, I will straight up cry.
Yeah.
And it happened in Incredibles during that action sequence.
That's
because
crazy.
I got teary-eyed at how amazing, like, it was so well done. It happened to me during Mad Max Fury Road during one of the main sequences, which I saw with them, and I was like straight up teary-eyed. I'm like, this is working so well with the music and everything, and I'm just like having this almost spiritual experience. And then I look over at Akasha, and she is snooze, and it is loud as shit.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping
snoring.
Intentionally. I decided I don't want to watch this movie. I'm going to try to fall asleep.
Yeah.
I did not fall asleep because I chose to go to sleep in that movie.
The 2 movies my wife has fallen. I've said this a million times. The 2 movies my wife has fallen asleep and that blow my I'm just like, that is impressive.
That one.
Fury Road.
Yeah, that was,
but more
that
than
was impressive.
more
I
than
didn't
that.
want to watch that one.
More than that, the
one
Lego movie.
But I fell.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm like.
I fell
that,
asleep on that one because I was very, very sleep deprived.
That
I
yes, but that movie is like I kind of fell asleep in Man of Steel for that reason. I liked Man of Steel.
You did fall asleep,
but I fell asleep in Man of Steel.
When did you fall asleep at the end?
Yeah.
Because even the ending, I feel like I'm one of the few people that liked that movie, but I found the ending to be. I was just like, this is overwhelming.
That's
This is
awesome.
numbing me at how much action's going on.
That's what I'm saying. That's crazy as Melancholy. Because I've heard you say that, and I've heard Ben say that, and I've heard.
Yeah, Ben does. Yeah, we bonded over that too.
But
cool, Madeline. All right.
But the Lego Movie is literally like they took 6 bullhorns and strung them together and filled them full of pop rocks and put 17 strobe lights at them and just flipped a nuclear switch because it's like I sat down on a Lego Movie and I was like first 5 minutes I was like, is this what animation is now? Oh my gosh, and then
sound asleep.
And then it came into like I just eventually was like,
I
okay, now I'm just hopped up and I'm on a new level or plane of understanding, and I'm just able to watch it. But it was insane.
I am like the opposite of a dude watching a movie
Wolfram.
in that if there isn't character development, I really get bored. Like if there's
No, that's true.
Me too.
I'm
like
very
that
much
too.
that way. I cannot get on board
Yeah.
unless I care about it.
If-
And
if
that's why it happens
people just
rarely.
say, "Hey, this is," but the action looks so cool. That doesn't work for me. I totally have trouble. I just like.
Now I can
mentally,
I'll say this. I
can't watch it. I keep going. I stop watching again. You know.
Yeah.
It's gonna make me care about it
missing things.
somehow, but there are different ways you can make
It
me.
needs to be advancing the plot or the character. It can't just be look how cool this looks.
No, agreed. I think all action has to serve a purpose. Nothing infuriates me more than when I see. It's why as I've gotten older, I have really the Matrix sequels, which I enjoyed when they first came out, fell so far in my opinion because the first one is so brilliant for so many reasons, and one of them is it uses action to get story plot points and emotional plot points across. And then in the second one, there are like 10-minute scenes where he'll fight 100 Smiths, and you're like, that is so amazing and so cool looking, and there is no point for that scene to exist at all, And there's tons of stuff like that, and it's weird for me to watch that trilogy because I was just like, oh man, like the drop off in quality in terms of like the physical storytelling seemed to go away.
Did the
Madeline,
director change?
No, yeah. It's Madeline, are you talking about in terms of animation is different? I had a friend, another director friend who saw Teen Titans movie and said it was great. That's interesting. Dunkirk. Hot take, everyone was lying when they said they liked Dunkirk. No one's talked about it since it came out or gone back to rewatch it. I still have not seen it. I would love to watch it.
I saw it.
I feel like it's a movie I would like.
I saw it twice just because I saw it twice. I ended up seeing it twice. I saw it both times in IMAX.
That's interesting, Wolfram.
And it was very impressive to watch, and I thought the music was very interesting. And yeah, I think Christopher Nolan is such a master at momentum in terms of editing and propelling narratives forward through sheer editing willpower. Like, I genuinely believe that some of the reasons those Dark Knight movies, specifically The Dark Knight, works as well as it does is because it has this almost Greek tragedy, like we're impending doom, like we're moving towards something. And it's both the editing and the music with Hans Zimmer. And I understand why he started to just keep him around, because those two things in unison. Because like in Dark Knight, it's just like...
Yeah.
And it's just like constantly moving forward, and there's always master shots, but it's just stuff like moving over cities and stuff like that. We're always moving into scenes, and in Dunkirk's that times 11, where he cut out all the dialogue and he just went strictly on his bare bones, just like visual storytelling abilities, and I thought that was beautiful. But also,
I'm wondering because. I don't know.
I didn't care about anybody in that movie. I'll say that much.
That's interesting.
In Dunkirk.
That's what Polaris said.
I'm very interested to see it, and I tend to kind of... The complaints that people have about Dunkirk remind me of the complaints that people have about other movies that I've been like, I think I would love that, and then watched it and was like, I loved that. But I don't know.
I think Dunkirk is a good movie.
Yeah.
I just wish he would learn to go back to what made him great with Memento.
Sure.
And Insomnia to some extent, but definitely The Prestige, which I consider his best movie. Because when he does devote the time to character, like he's unstoppable.
Prestige is
And he's
fantastic.
such a good filmmaker that when he doesn't devote time to that, it still works because he's that good of a filmmaker and he knows how to craft a movie that well. But boy, I mean, Prestige is another movie that makes me tear-eyed just at the sheer craftsmanship and the poetic nature of the themes he's presenting, not even the characters.
I love the Prestige so very much.
Wolfrat just said.
So there you go, Wolfrat. That's what I was saying. The Prestige is like
we should talk about Interstellar.
Is like an we'll be here forever. Like the Prestige is like such a to me it's his 7. Like it's such a tight. It just works perfectly, open and shut. It's like a mouse. It's just like, and it just boom 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 boom, and you go and it's so perfect and so simple and so great. And the ending is so like but obviously but wow I never would have and it just it's
and it works into the theme of what the Prestige is and
it has parallels to like show business and film. It's everything and it's just like that so organically happened in me as I was watching it. It's beautiful. Interstellar is less. Well, I don't know. Like I have this sense of like that. I'm like it's. If you're looking for a polished, perfect movie, that if I was gonna like recommend one that I'm like you should watch this, and if you don't like it, you're wrong. But yeah, go watch The Prestige. Interstellar is perhaps, I don't even want to say this, but is perhaps less perfect than The Prestige in some ways. Maybe it has my heart though so much, and it is so bold and so daring in such in such a way that I never expected Christopher Nolan to be, and he got savaged for it. He got destroyed for it.
And he got savaged by me when talking to you about this.
Yeah.
And then after talking to you so much about it and then buying it on Blu-ray and watching it a bunch.
I love it so much.
I love that movie now. I love Interstellar now. And I did I hated it. I hated it.
So
when
did a lot of people, I know.
And I did a complete 180 on it. And I don't think I've ever done that.
Alpha
I've never done that before.
It's my greatest achievement.
And I associate a lot of it to you in the sense that you got me to think about it differently. So when I rewatched it, I was like, I do see. And you're right, it is extremely bold. I think some of it's still real sappy and not handled well. Like, it's not intentional sap that I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and
it doesn't matter because
like
I'm like, I see it now, and I do like it, and I don't think it's a perfect movie.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy it.
Best effects in any movie? Yeah. This other was an actor who's great emotion, but doesn't really use words when describing. I did. Those were all words that I used.
You're very verbal. I was surprised to see that. I was like, we have to go back and see what.
But Wolfrat, you love Interstellar, so we're good. So I feel like I go, and this is where because we know. Christopher Nolan, we're gonna have to have like a week on Christopher Nolan or something because we know that the Batman films are a point of contention for me.
He like came out of nowhere, did something. He was referenced in
film school.
Something. What was his first thing?
Following,
and then was it impressively done with no money or something?
It was
he shot it on weekends over like 2 years,
and then he did Men.
It's not
the first thing that was his thing.
It's a decent.
I haven't seen
but you can, it's very scratchy.
Rough.
A lot of critics hated it. What made you change your mind?
I took a lot of issues, mainly with Anne Hathaway's character in Interstellar, and how they presented the theme of love and all these things, and at first I just didn't, and then I know I haven't seen it in a while. I know I was harping on a lot of the technical, not even technical aspects.
Kind of like plot
hole type things, and I don't know. I would need to revisit it.
Yeah.
In fact, I might do that tonight.
We will. Oh, really?
I don't know.
Well, we'll definitely revisit it.
It's a great movie to watch in the background because again, like one thing he is nailing that I don't think enough directors do is I know he must have conversations with Hans Zimmer where he's like, okay, I want themes.
Yes.
I want stuff that when you walk out, you are humming it or talking about that music. And it's like a polar opposite of what, I know we got off topic, but it's the polar opposite of what Last Picture Show does, where he makes his music prevalent, and I love him for it.
Sure.
And, because, Interstellar, dun 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 dun, like just like that music is so beautiful and gets so much across like on an emotional level, and like I've listened to that score so many times, and I don't even know what we were addressing initially, but
you were just talking about we were talking about Nolan Summer for some reason. We talked about Prestige. You know how we got onto Interstellar, or how we got onto the score?
Yeah.
You're just talking about not enough directors go like, I want recognizable themes, which is absolutely true.
And that's true, yeah. And like and I think M. Night Shyamalan has really lost his way, and maybe he's finding his way back. But like, I will always give him credit because he was like, I want themes. Yeah. I want music that you can hum when you're walking out of the theater. Yeah. And I don't understand. It's one of the like it's because there have been articles about this about Marvel movies.
Absolutely.
And I'm just like, why not? Why don't you have a Superman theme, or and I know that's DC, but like, you know what I mean? Like, why don't you have these recognizable things?
Yeah, Roy loves it. And I think it's because it's funny because Hans Zimmer is the only guy, with few exceptions, the only, because I remember the Interstellar theme because I watched it
it's so good.
2 or 3 times. So sorry. I did remember the Interstellar theme. I know I love it. I can't remember it anymore. But I watched it like 2 or 3 times, and it was in my head for a long time. Yes. Okay. I have to listen to it again. But yeah. But that's good. That is great.
That is it.
There is an Avengers theme. That's the only one of the Marvel movies that I can remember, and it's and I think it's because I played a game that had it on the thing, and it's like the dun 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 and it's kind of like that.
Is that the Avengers?
That's the Avengers theme. It's Alan Silvestri. So like, yeah, all these guys. So like I don't know. We're talking this, but Hans Zimmer, at the same time, yeah, I know. It's like you were falling asleep to that. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Oh, I thought you were going.
Oh no, I was going. Oh, I don't care that we're off topic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I know I don't either. But it's interesting because Hans Zimmer is both the author of like the majority of the themes that I can remember and hum from the last like 15, 20 years.
Without question.
But also, I think he's part of the reason,
without question,
that we don't have themes anymore, because he went bum 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 bum,
or just like people saw what he was doing and they were like, oh, noises.
Like that's the Dark Knight, right? That's the Dark Knight trilogy. It's like and it's perfect for the Dark Knight because it's like we need something distinctive, but like just like Christopher Nolan, I mean, just like those movies. Yeah, exactly. And it's like we're gonna be Batman, but we're gonna be like cool and realistic and subtle.
But guess what?
It.
When you hear that, you know that's Batman.
Absolutely. No. And that's what I'm saying is he nailed it.
He nailed it. He
nailed it.
And then
but other people were like, so tones.
Yeah.
Tones.
Yeah.
Which are great. And
yeah.
like I mean like
it's great when it's great when it's
Inception
done
did too,
well. Yeah. Dude, Wonder Woman. I haven't even seen Wonder Woman, but I heard the music for it, and it is awesome.
It
is awesome. Yeah, I heard like I guess the ending.
Oh,
I don't even like that one. Oh, but you're right. That is a recognizable theme.
That's the one, yeah.
And that is the main theme. But there's like some theme they use at the end of the movie. I think it's like one of the right before the credits. It's usually one I listen to first because I'm like, this will be the most dramatic one. This will be the big piece, like the suite. And it was very moving. But it was very good.
And can I ask you to be a gentleman and switch chairs with me?
Sure.
My butt hurts.
Oh yeah, sure. Because I'm really glad we're talking about movie scores organically, because I just want to always talk about movie scores all the time.
Well, you don't have to sit there. Is that what you want to do?
Oh, switch chairs?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't care. Sure, either way. Is that what's easier?
My back and my butt.
Yeah, do you just want to sit here?
That's fine.
Okay.
Didn't know if that was
rolling and stuff.
To your
but
junk.
My junk? Oh, whatever. I like.
Yeah, Inception is amazing.
Inception is yeah. Although he didn't write that one.
He didn't.
I
know he has a whole team. That's another huge controversy.
But the one that we think of as the Inception theme is not Hans Zimmer at all. It's totally credited to another
No,
guy.
not the Bwong.
Oh, okay.
That's like the trailer stuff.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
talking
okay,
about.
okay.
Although I guess it is. Is it in the movie?
I
The
kind of
Bwongs?
don't know that it is, but that's the one
but
that everyone thinks of.
The time that ends the movie is
I
great.
can't fit into the thing with you that close.
What do you mean?
There isn't.
Like here?
I can't be in the screen. You see?
Oh, how come?
Because I didn't scoot in.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay.
Thanks.
Sure. Hold on.
Your tough dad genes will protect you from the chair's
Right.
harshness.
But like he also wrote he also did the thing that like the theme that like gosh darn it that I initially was like I heard it and I was like that is a parody of an action theme. That is ridiculous. And now I'm kind of like I've heard it enough and it's gotten stuck in my head enough that I'll never forget it. And then I'm kind of like all right, which is the da da dun dun da da dun dun da da dun da dun da dun da da dun dun da da dun dun da da dun da dun da dun bum 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 bum.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Bum bum bum.
Here's the funny thing. I knew that's what you were gonna say, and it is. It's just
Because
it's too much.
Because the movie, but it's great. I mean, after hearing this much, I'm just like, okay, I hear it and I go,
never
all right.
liked the Pirates movies not that they were bad.
I only
was just
saw
like,
one.
I saw the first one. I was like, that is enough. And
Yeah.
also, that movie is 1 hour too long. Like, trim that shit.
I
down.
remember going into Pirates and going like, oh
Her.
sweet.
Yeah, her has great music.
I love her. I love her. I don't remember the music in
Who?
her. Yeah. Who? I remember going into Pirates, and I feel like this is not Pirates' fault. I was like, Pirates, awesome. I've waited so long for an historical, fact-based pirate movie. And then I went in, and I guess it had been a long time since I'd been on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, though, mostly is like you're in, and
Like he like jingling the
yeah, and it's
for
just
the
people
dog
going like
and-
pirates, and then it
Yeah.
goes like Ghost Pirates and Davy Jones, and I was like, what? Well, Davy Jones was in it, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's Ghost Pirates? No, I don't like this. And then I saw Master and Commander, and I was like, that's what I wanted.
Oh boy, Master and
love it.
Commander is such a good movie. Peter Weir is the
Yeah.
most underrated director of all time.
Yeah.
Witness.
Yeah.
Mosquito Coast.
Oh, Mosquito Coast.
Master and Commander.
Yes.
What else? There's a few that. Picnic at Hanging Rock. Like there's like 4 more. The dude's brilliant.
Silent Pirates, I think it was also 13. Sure, fair point. Skeleton pilots aren't real. No, I mean they're real. They're just covered in skin.
I'll say this much: one of Hans Zimmer's best pieces of music that he ever wrote was for Hannibal, the sequel to Silence of the Lambs.
Huh.
He wrote.
Hannibal, eat you like a burger now, Hannibal.
Is that a song?
No.
Okay.
I thought maybe I just.
That is the song.
Yeah,
that he
yeah,
wrote. Yeah. But it's like an opera piece that he wrote.
Oh wow.
And it was just for a section in the movie
Oh,
where
that's awesome.
where Hannibal is at an opera, and so they needed music to be on stage, and it is this stunningly beautiful
Really?
piece. Yeah.
And Hans Zimmer was like, finally, I can.
Yeah.
You chucks.
I wish he had turned done a whole thing with it too. 'Cause
Wolf
it's
of
just
Wall
one
Street.
piece. Yeah.
I don't remember the theme to Wolf of Wall Street. That's just because like the ones that I remember are, the themes that I remember are mostly Hans. Yeah, like Pirates. I remember Sherlock Holmes, which is Hans Zimmer, and I can't remember it half the time, but I can remember it. And it's like gosh darn it.
Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah, it's like, it's this very nice little like it's a bouncy kind of bum 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 bum.
Yeah.
I almost had it.
That sounds like Home Alone.
Yeah. The Cars That Ate Paris. That was Peter Weir. Oh my gosh.
What?
The Cars That Ate Paris.
Oh, wow.
Ray's theme. Interesting. And then the other like, but then there's also Michael Giacchino,
But
who's kind of like.
or is that an old movie?
Yeah, that's Catch Me If You Can, which is kind of da-da-da-dun,
No, I was.
da-da-da-dun.
Oh, that's a great jazz one. Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dun,
Yeah,
da-da-da-dun.
that's very good, but like,
Are you
I'm just looking. I'm trying to think of like stuff I've been listening to. If anything's from a movie.
Weird, right? Yeah. The other ones, Michael Giacchino is kind of like a little baby, a little baby. Like, and what I was gonna say is that he's not a baby. Sorry, I was saying he's like a baby John Williams. I kind of stopped and was like, Michael Giacchino's a little baby. Anyway, but in terms of Hans Zimmer and kind of like the legacy of people going like completely sort of like tonal and electronic with all their music. Giacchino is kind of like the one who's still kind of using sort of orchestral stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what it is like the old stuff, the classic stuff is orchestral stuff.
Yeah.
And it stands out. You hear it. The music, yeah, Up is catchy, definitely. Yes, I did say Sherlock Holmes. That's the other one that I remember that I can't remember. Gosh darn it! But Giacchino, and the reason that it's with the filmmaking because and I feel like we've talked about this, but like the reason the themes of John Williams stick out to you, and we could all hum 8 of them for you right now, and you would recognize them. And even if you know the name John Williams and don't know why, you would go, oh my gosh, like. And the reason these are so iconic is that they are matched with filmmaking moments that are so clear and so bold that the marriage of them together makes them an indelible thing. Like that. Like, is this Sherlock?
Yeah, but it's a trailer.
So think about, like we all know Jurassic Park. We all know it, and it's because it's at the moment that freaking Sam Neill goes.
Yeah.
And then goes, sorry, man.
Wait, hold on. No, you don't.
Yeah. And then she gets up, and it goes, dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. And I will never forget that as long as I live. And that song makes me cry. I was dancing with my wife to Jurassic Park in the kitchen, and I started to cry because it's so beautiful. Yeah. It's amazing.
We would play for Aurora.
Yes.
A bunch and
Welcome
cry a bunch when we
Jurassic
were
Puck.
when she was first
Yes,
born.
Puck.
One of my favorite cues from E.T. is not even the main
That's
theme,
Howard Shore's Madeline. Yeah.
but when they cut, there's a massive cut to when they're like, they steal E.T. back, and they're like all in their bikes racing to get him back to his ship, and they're like, wait, where are all the boys? And then it goes,
Yeah.
And like the music is going with their movements up and down the roads and everything. But when they do that hard cut to the bikes in like a V formation, and that music,
But yeah,
and I instantly tear up every single time. And I've seen it 3 times in the theater, and every single time I'm like, this is everything I love about not films but movies.
Yes, absolutely,
and movie making, and that's why Spielberg is always like a brilliant artist to me, not only because he can do incredibly impactful, serious stuff, like like Saving Private Ryan or Schindler's List, but he can do popcorn stuff better than anybody.
Yes, this is the Hunter. Bum 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 bum. That's the Sherlock.
Just the instrument though is
bum
so
bum bum.
I just wish you would go back to classical stuff, because like Journey to the Line from The Thin Red Line is one of the most haunting, beautiful, powerful musical pieces ever written.
Dude, I love The Terminal too. It's Madeline. That's like one of my favorite Tom Hanks performances, and I feel like everyone.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely,
God.
absolutely.
Oh, I need to watch that.
That's
again.
one of my 2 least favorites.
Oh, it's one. It's
low for me.
It's like the one where Tom Hanks made me forget he was Tom Hanks.
It's got a great moment when he's like, "You're beautiful. You're beautiful, like
John
a
Williams
horse,
in Harry Potter.
like a horse."
Yeah. Oh, then that's not the movie if you remember. That's true. John Williams did do the Harry Potter thing. Yeah. So and what you're talking about, like when they actually take flight, it's the ba na 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 na.
Yeah, but that's not even the one that ever gets me, like ever.
But like
it's
that
always
for me.
that hard cut to the first part of it, and then building it, and it's that first moment.
Yeah,
where
and it. Yeah.
And like he like lays down on all the keys on that, and it's great. It's so good.
And that's it. But we're talking about so Spielberg and Williams, these indelible moments. So like that cut, the taking off, Indiana Jones, dun 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 dun, running, doing anything. You start humming that music, and you see the whip curl around the thing. All right, take it easy. Absolutely, Wolf Rat. Gosh darn it. Na 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 na.
You sound like you're giving an Oscar speech.
And you're cutting yourself off.
I take you to
Bum bum ba-da-dum, bum bum ba-da-dum,
That's so great that you're because the Home Alone theme is one of my favorite John Williams themes of all time. I listen to it at Christmas all the time.
It's fantastic.
That's all I listen to in the car. Like,
it's fantastic.
It's that and then the Charlie Brown Christmas, the Jazy,
the Guaraldi, but see,
good.
And then it's dun 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 bum 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 bum, and that's one where like a couple years ago I was listening to it and I was like, man, this is so, whoever's doing this is doing a great John Williams impression. And then I was like, it's John Williams. I was like, crap. But then one of like
it's gonna be real hard when that dude passes away.
Oh yeah.
Like I got broken up when James Horner passed.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna crush me when John Williams passes.
Yeah.
Because I know he's getting up to the age now where he's not taking on many like if any, he takes on maybe one a year, like just like the main. He's not even doing Star Wars anymore. Like, it's gonna be bad.
Yes, the Finding Nemo is pretty distinctly Finding Nemo. It also is pretty
because it's Thomas Newman, who's another great.
He's
composer.
amazing. He's amazing. It also though makes me feel like even when I watched it, I was like, oh, like Thomas Newman scored this movie.
Yeah,
because it sounds very much like Thomas Newman, but it is great. It is great.
It's weird how he has a and James Horner too.
Yeah,
they all have their own distinct. I wouldn't know how to put. What would you say? Because like Horner's got like these little metal clanging.
Yeah, he's got this kind of like these
but
tones.
Newman is what is Newman?
He has this kind of like
very recognizable.
Like it's very like it's because he did American Beauty.
Yeah, which is where I fell in love with him.
And that was another thing. Like in as much as everyone started imitating the womp womp, people started going, oh, this bum 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 bum. That's how you go indie but serious but comedy but whatever. Like that's what people started doing constantly. And it's this sort of like almost like Tubular Bells kind of like.
I wonder.
Not really, but.
You know how somebody.
Toy Story. Oh, sorry. Yes, Danny Elfman is absolutely recognizable. Yes, and it is very much.
Oh,
exactly.
When Danny Elfman is at his best, he might be one of my favorites.
And he can do different. Like he scored Good Will Hunting. He can do stuff that's not Danny Elfman, and you're like, what?
It's true. And the score for Good Will Hunting is fantastic.
It's great. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it was Polaris or someone else who said that people. I think it was someone else. People started using temp tracks while editing.
Oh yeah.
I think when everything went so digital. So that they just go, hey, composer, I just want a knockoff of these.
Yeah.
And people stopped having the opportunity to create original scores because then they would go, here's my original score, and people would be like,
I like the temp track. Because they'd watched it a million times.
They got so married to the temp track that, because you guys keep talking about people doing impressions of these big names, and I wonder if that's because that's all they're asked to do is go,
it's a dangerous thing.
I edited this to Thomas Newman, and I just want you to do a Thomas Newman score for me.
What's his face? Every Frame of Painting, which I haven't seen, I don't know if there are a million more because I haven't watched it in so long, but Every Frame of Painting had one like that, and it was about kind of the Marvel stuff, I don't know that it seemed to Spirited Away. Danny Elfman, though, absolutely. The bum 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 bum. One time you described it as dark circus music, and I was like, that's perfect. I figured that's fantastic.
For sure.
And it's great. And Pixar has great stuff. That is Giacchino very often, although it is Thomas Newman in Finding Nemo. And the Finding Nemo music makes me cry. Like we literally, I don't know who it is in Toy. Oh, it's Randy Newman in Toy Story. But no, I mean he does the songs. I don't know who does the actual music. You got a friend to be.
Take one step, 2 steps.
Family Guy one, right?
Is that your Randy Newman impression? Oh yeah.
That's Family Guy's.
Pulling out a gun, eating an apple, eating another apple. Yeah.
You haven't seen that episode?
I guess I haven't. No, yeah. Randy did the score as well. Oh, you're right. He did. Yeah, because he scores movies as well. That's right. But Giacchino did The Incredibles, I believe. I'm pretty sure. Which is the oh gosh, Incredibles. Dun dun. Yeah, dun 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 dun. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he, but he
fun to write that kind.
But he also did one of the other like across. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I'm going to talk for a little while. But across these decades, the other Hans Zimmer one that really stood out to me, and it's too bad because now we've been playing it for our daughter, and it's actually not that much of it that is incredibly distinctive. But the beginning of the Man of Steel score. which is
the piano piece.
Yeah.
Woo!
Bum, bum,
Or it calls it Beautiful Superman.
Oh,
She
yeah.
said, play Beautiful Superman. Or
I
she'll
always
actually
get
say
so-
Superman by John Williams or Beautiful Superman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I called it Beautiful Superman. I think one day.
It's
I came on
wrote-
and I say it's beautiful.
It's so frustratingly beautiful
It's so
because
great.
he only does it. He goes through the progression once and then he never returns to
Yeah.
it. And I'm
And
like,
then it goes
just do the
dun-dun-dun,
whole piano
dun-dun-dun,
thing for
dun-dun-dun.
5 minutes
I
straight,
know, just
dude.
do
It's
that.
beautiful.
I know, I agree. Thank you for the follow chemotherapy. Thanks so much.
It's called What Are You Gonna Do When You're Not Saving the World?
Yeah.
Which seems sarcastic. I'm like, why is that the
That might be a line from the movie, though, I think.
Sounds
Like,
like-
as his
seems like
parents.
they're going-
Yeah. One
But-
of my
but if
major
it's-
issues
but
with
if
that
it's-
movie is how they presented Pa Kent, and I'm just like,
I know.
he literally tells him
I know.
to be selfish and essentially is like, you should just let some people die, and you're like, that's not great. And then also the way he died, where he's not even saving another human being, he's saving a dog. I'm like, you could have solved this scene by just not making it a dog, and then it would have been fantastic, fantastic. But no, you went and saved a stupid dog, and you ruined and you killed yourself like an idiot.
Yeah, I go.
And
You should have
it's
just saved
Kevin
him.
So so great. And
My friend got.
So
to
I have a
stand
whole,
in on that
obviously,
scene.
we'll get to this later when we talk about but I have a whole arcing belief about Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman. We'll talk about that later. But go ahead.
My friend got to stand in during that scene, the saving the dog
As
scene
the dog.
As the dog.
for the woman, and Kevin Costner didn't know she was not the actual actress, and like interacted with her, and she said he was beautiful. His face, she was just like, it's beautiful.
Isn't
Yeah,
it weird
that's my
that someone
story.
isn't it weird that in this day and age when you look back and you're like, Kevin Costner at one point was the biggest movie star on the planet.
I love Kevin Costner.
I know you
I
do.
think he's intensely under. I think he's possibly the most underrated movie
It's
star
just
of all time.
weird because
Actively, he's great. I think he's
he is great, and also it's remarkable that he was a movie star.
yeah. I agree.
And I know that sounds like I'm cutting him down,
No.
which I'm not, because I love him.
No.
Waterworld, love it. But it is just, it's funny to me because he just looks like every dad you've ever seen at a T-ball game in your entire life.
You know,
like
you think
he's
that-
unremarkably
You
blends in.
You
I
think
feel
that,
like.
but you see them in person and you go, "Oh, they're
Yeah.
actually beautiful." I saw Seth Meyers,
Oh, he's a very
who I've
handsome-
never thought was super amazing looking, and I saw him and I was like, "His eyes are so blue. His face is beautiful," and I was like, Seth Meyers has never gotten a second look from me, and I was like, movie stars.
But you're moving up, Seth Meyers.
Just look. They just get doled down to normal looking
because
people
of all the people that are
somehow.
around. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I'm like, it was so intimidating to me. I was like, oh, even the normal ones look amazing
Yeah,
when you get up
right,
close.
right.
Oh shit.
That's a pretty poster boy for that. Madeline, Paul Rudd is pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Paul Rudd.
We're like, oh, he's a normal dude, and you'd see him in person and go, whoa, hi.
We saw Paul Rudd at
Yeah.
like the height of like right when like Knocked Up and
Yeah.
40-Year-Old Virgin were at their prime, and it was during South by, and he had a movie there with David Wayne, and we kept running into Paul Rudd five or six times,
Awesome.
and we loved him. We thought he was the funniest dude, and we ended up talking to him like 3 or 4 times, and then one time we saw him at a Q&A, and I think we took it too far because during the Q&A we thought he was so funny. We were laughing at any joke, like genuinely laughing,
Yeah.
but I think he took it as we were laughing
Sarcastically?
too much, or
Yeah.
just like, and at one point
He looked at you and gave
he
you a dirty look.
literally he said something and we laughed, and he just goes, "Do you like that one?" And we were like, "Yes, we did," because you're Paul Rudd.
That's hilarious. That's really funny.
Oh
And,
wow.
But in retrospect, I'm like, oh no, he hated us because we were all like, this is when I still was drinking, and like we were all blitzed out of our mind the entire week. So I'm like, oh yeah, he totally hated us.
That's hilarious. That's really
So-
funny.
oh,
It's my Paul Rudd story.
that's David Wayne.
Oh.
No, Michael Showalter. was
No,
a
I'm not-
dick to
Michael
mine.
Showalter.
No, he wasn't a dick.
David
I'm
Wayne
not telling
was
the
there.
story.
Michael Showalter was there.
David Wayne maybe.
Ken Marino was there.
Ken Marino. I love Ken
Like
Marino.
the whole
I love
state
Ken Marino.
people, like cast was there. It felt like.
Yeah. Well, I have a
story about a celebrity that I was like, oh, whatever, and then I was like, oh, they're stunning. But I will move on because I don't want to tell mine anymore. Because
Do it.
yours are really good. No, really no.
Stunning. Just say it.
Jenna Elfman. Speaking of Danny
do
Elfman,
it.
I just was like, just because like in Dharma and Greg, they're like, she's attractive, but like she's goofy looking, and then we're whatever, and I was like, oh, she's a gorgeous human being. My goodness, yeah, it's just like this, yeah.
I know, even
So
the
take
ones
that,
that
Seth
look,
Meyers.
I know, it's the ones that even look that are just like.
Yeah, I mean, like I never thought she was unattractive
like
at all.
A
But you just go, whoa.
7 Hollywood celebrity, and then you see him, and you go, they're a 20.
Yeah, absolutely.
And everyone else is a
and the
50.
rest of us are 4s.
Yeah.
I literally bumped into Elijah Wood.
Oh yeah.
And
elbowed him in the face.
Sorry. And I did a double take, not because he was Elijah Wood, but because I was like,
his eyes are mesmerizing.
I was like, oh my god, you are like a little fairy, and not in like a negative way. I was like,
you're an ethereal being.
You are an ethereal being.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna get some wishes.
And I did. I was like, I was like, I should just bash him over the head and like spring into coins.
I had a huge crush on him in Forever Young.
He doesn't age.
He was a 10-year-old. Yeah. Now I'm not into him.
Is Forever Young
Mel Gibson?
Mel Gibson. I love that movie.
I don't know that one.
It's where he's forever.
He's
not
frozen
old.
cryogenically.
Oh, is that it?
What's Man Without a Face? That's what the
those
other
are the two that are like. And that's got Nick Stahl in it.
Yeah, Nick Stahl.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's
guy.
a great movie.
I think it's a really good actor. That guy is a really good actor.
I
He's
remember
from
when
Dallas.
that was shot in this
I have
area.
to go.
Yeah, you should go. We stopped talking about Last Picture Show a while ago.
It's
a great movie. You should watch it. It is a heartbreaking ending.
Yeah.
And it is all about desperation. And hey, do you want to do Mean Streets for next time?
Ooh.
Do you want to mention your favorite part of the car scene that you watched again at the end of with Ellen Burstyn, where she double takes him?
It made good cry.
Ellen Burstyn in this film is amazing.
Oh, she's amazing.
So great. And yes, I laughed so hard, and we rewound it to watch it again. When at the because here we are this is such a good at the end of this movie where everyone is bored and empty and interesting, D squared.
Yeah, I remember seeing that too and going, she's pretty. What are you talking about?
Lady Gaga's in it? The Bradley Cooper fourth remake of A Star Is Born?
Yeah. The two of them. Like, she's the lead.
Oh, it's him and Bradley Cooper. I thought it was someone. Never mind. I need to watch.
Yeah,
that.
she's unrecognizable because you don't see her without makeup. Like when I saw,
and it'd be great at the end of it
in Precious, and I was like,
it'd be funny if the end of it is like the end of A Star Is Born.
Precious by Sapphire.
Yeah, but based on the novel Push by
based on the novel Push by Sapphire.
But it'd be really funny. It'd be really funny if like the end of The Star Is Born is like she just looks normal and they try to make her mousy, and at the end she like comes out and she's got a doll house on her head and just like a cone bra that shoots sparks.
Dude, how good was it?
So
she's like, oh, la, la.
And we're like, oh, so
like her first, like she goes back to her hits from the first album. She's like, ooh la la.
Knee dress is back. She's head to toe in vinyl with like a Super Nintendo hanging off of one arm. And you're just like, what?
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
I heard that is killing. Like that movie, like the reviews for
it's out already?
Well, I've heard the reviews
for
it.
Yeah.
I want to see movies again.
Yeah, I do. I haven't seen movies in a long time. But Ellen Burstyn in this so like at the end of this movie in which the town is a sinkhole that is like I love what you said, Wolfrat. He's not here anymore. I love what you said, Wolfrat, about the town being an antagonist. Absolutely. It is sucking the life out of people. They're just there existing. They're finding a way to find they're trying to find ways to find sparks of life by just screwing anything that moves and just everyone there sucks and the place sucks and everything sucks. And at the end of the movie, Sybil Shepherd has run off and gotten married to Timothy Bottoms for the kicks, for the attention. She just wants the thrill of the cops chasing him because her parents sicked him on them. That happens. He gets pulled away. Then the parents come and get him and they pull him away and they put her in the car and he's like, I don't care about that guy. He can walk home. And Ellen Burstyn is like, I'll give you a ride home. And she sits down and gets in the car and drives away. And they're talking about this whole thing. And she's like, you never should have, and it's essentially that. Like my daughter is, she's my daughter.
She's a hoe.
But you like.
You should have gone with the other one.
Yeah, because like, and she says something very like, just very like, she's not a good person. Like,
Yeah.
I can't remember what she says, but it's something very kind of like, she's wired that way. She's not for.
She basically,
people.
she was like, you shouldn't have got involved with her in the first place. Like, you shouldn't.
You dodged a bullet.
Like that's
yeah,
it's something
yeah,
like,
yeah,
and it's not like you shouldn't have got involved with her because it's my daughter. In the sense of like
Ellen
she's being
Burstyn
protective,
was the one
she's
who
like
suggested that he was the best guy, best catch in town now.
Yeah, and she's like, she got a standing ovation. Ellen Burstyn or Lady Gaga, I don't know. And then she's like, but she's just like, she basically is kind of like being motherly to him and being like, stay away from that kid because that kid sucks. I love her, but that kid sucks essentially. And then she just kind of, she's like, but you'll be okay. You're a good looking kid. And then she kind of like,
she goes, Sam the Lion loved
oh,
her.
right.
And she goes, I see what he saw in you too.
Which is very sweet. And then she goes, and then she does this great thing where she's like, yeah, I see what he saw in you. And then she goes, nope. All right.
I didn't catch that.
It's so great.
She looks at you, goes, nah, I'll just go.
Yeah, she goes, no, I'll just leave. Because there's just that split second. Because you're like, because anytime a male and female are alone in this town, there's a 75% chance they're going to bone. Because what else are you going to do in Anarene, Texas? It's just such a great, and she's so funny. And gosh, we never got to talk about this, but the moment when her daughter comes home and collapses and is like, the dude took advantage of me on the pool table, but like it's more like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna be an old maid, and she's like 19 years old or 17 or 18, and the wife and Ellen Burstyn walks in, and in the same, and she talks about this, and you keyed into it like years ago because you read it or something, and it's great.
I think I heard it on NPR.
She in like the span of 3 seconds, she hears the sound of the car that she recognizes as the guy she's having an affair with. This is Ellen Burstyn, the mother. She walks into the kitchen. Instead of seeing what's his name, Wichita, some Texas town, I can't remember what his name is. Whatever. Instead of seeing the guy, Abilene, it's so weird. It's like Arlington, and I'm like, you trying to prove that it's from Texas?
Arlington's a good name.
Arlington's a good name. And then instead of seeing the guy walk in, she sees Sybil Shepherd, her daughter, walk in, kind of with her maybe clothes in disarray, and she goes, I've been sitting at home and waiting to get boned because there's nothing to do. And she goes, oh, my boning man is here. And then she walks in, and it's not her boning man. It is her daughter who has been boned by her boning man because that's all anyone does. And she goes, jealous? And then her daughter collapses, and she just goes, I know. We're both whores, and it sucks. Sorry, that's not. I'm not, trying to be funny, but they're not. They're just desperate people in a desperate situation doing whatever they can, and it's just this move from empathy, and it's so funny and truthful and great. Her reaction, it's amazing. It is amazing.
Yeah, she is so freaking good.
She's so great.
When was the first? I was introduced to her in Requiem for a Dream,
Exorcist,
and then I went. And I saw Requiem too young. Glad I did though, because it made me not do drugs ever.
Yeah.
Because I was like, cool, not gonna go down that road.
Yeah.
But I immediately looked her up after that because it was one of the first times I was blown away.
That's definitely when I learned her name. I was old enough to know.
And I started researching her, and then that's how I watched The Exorcist for the first time. And
oh, you hadn't seen it?
Oh, that's awesome.
And I saw The Exorcist for the first time in the theater because they did the re-release where they put the spider walk in down the stairs and everything.
Terrifying. Yeah.
And I remember seeing it for the first time in the old theater in my hometown, and there was 2 guys in their 30s who were sitting in front of us, and they were like, they saw it like we were young, and I think we snuck in. And they're like, you guys ever seen this before? And we were nervous because we had heard how scary it was supposed to be. We were like, no. You boys are in trouble. And he was like, Frank, these stupid kids have never seen this. And we were like, what?
Anyway, here's your ticket.
But it was
like,
fun.
What?
Because it added to it. Because when we watched it, we were like really nervous. Because we were like, I'm nervous about how scared I'm going to get in this movie.
Yeah. Were you very scared?
No, but I thought it was it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
I remember seeing it, and I think I saw parts of it as a kid, maybe? I don't know, but I saw it in high school,
It left a deep impression on me, but I didn't.
I was
think
just
it was,
grossed
scary,
out.
Scary. It had a more of a feeling of dread to it.
Sure.
But it was so artful. I've always said that I always thought it was like a great drama instead of a horror movie.
Sure.
Because I think the religious aspects of it.
It's based on a true story, didn't it?
Supposedly, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it is very. And Ellen Burstyn kind of, I would say, grounds it. I mean, like that's why it is.
Without question.
And then there are some also, all the crazy stories about how that set went. But we'll get into that some other time. Boning Man is Burning Man's crazy
What
cousin.
are we watching? What did you say?
I thought maybe Mean Streets. What we could do is maybe talk about it. When was Mean Streets? Like I'm trying not to get, but like I'm kind of excited to because I've never seen Mean Streets, and I'm excited to kind of
excited to revisit that one.
jump into. So this is 73, and this is early.
Oh, let's do it.
But we could also. When does Alice doesn't live here anymore? Was that 74?
74, yeah.
Oh, okay. Then that's after because I'd be interested to see
Let's
that.
do Mean Streets, man.
I'd also-
It's number one Scorsese.
Yeah.
So it's
We'll
where
get,
it
we'll,
all
we'll,
began.
we'll introduce some of this. Yeah.
So it'll be a fun one,
I think so too. I think that's good.
and it's hyper accessible too. Cause it's
Yeah.
You guys seen
a
his
good
shaving short?
movie. Oh yeah, with the
Can't remember.
is that where he
Yeah.
slaps eyeballs?
Something.
what
Yeah. I can't remember it. Nolan has a
I
short.
tried
film.
to watch it and I couldn't remember why I couldn't see it.
You got it on Blu-ray. Sweet.
Oh yeah, Madeline.
I got it on DVD, so we'll be slumming it. But hey, guys, it is 2:00 in the morning.
In our time zone.
We did it, yeah. 2:00 in the morning for us. Thank you so much for hanging out and chatting and watching the movie. If you did, and if you didn't, thank you anyway. Thank you for being here. Oh, there's my daughter. It's a good time. All right, love you, honey.
Love you, Tiny.
All right, so for next time,
Bye,
we will.
Bye. See you next week.
For next time, I guess officially let's do Mean Streets.
Yeah.
Let's do Mean
Without
Streets.
question.
That's a
I think that's a
big,
great
big one.
Because I love me some Scorsese.
Yeah, baby. All right. Well, guys, thank you so darn much. That's really, we just talked about a whole lot of stuff. It kind of went off the rails, but it was great. But
whatever,
hey,
it's great.
that's cool. That's fine.
That was great.
Maybe that's what happens when we don't have two movies to keep us in.
Yeah.
But I don't know. All right.
And I think that honestly, I think that's a great way of putting it. Focusing on one movie allows us to go off on little tangents.
Yeah. Let's go get Mrs. X Jean. One movie is good though. Yeah, I agree. Let's go get Mrs. X Jean. Go tell her what's up. And yeah, it's rare to see people talking as you guys are about anything. Oh, really? Well, hey, that's what this is all about, man. I love movies. Why is it not? Are we not rating? What's going on? Later. Yeah, see, guys, thank you so much. Really, honestly, I cannot tell you how much it means to me to be able to do this